Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday, March 10th. DK Show coming to you from the TDS Sports Talk Studios to kick off your Tuesday morning. Thanks for, if you're already up and at it, thanks for making us a part of your start. Whether you are listening on the radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM, available stream up online at sportstalk1051.com. You got the app. Download it. Take it on the go. Video stream on YouTube up and rolling on Man Cave TV. Also, your Alexa, Google devices, all that fun stuff. But appreciate, again, if you're just if you're already up and at it, making us a part of your start. What do we have on a loaded up game plan for us this morning? We'll talk some green and gold as Packers making some moves yesterday. Obviously, we were on the air when the Rashawn Gary trade went down, but the Packers also releasing Elton Jenkins. So the two big moves that we expected, kind of thought would happen for the longest time, did happen. But, you know, again, Rashawn Gary actually getting traded and getting a fourth-round pick, I think, surprised a lot of people and such. But nonetheless, Packers moving on from Elton Jenkins and Rashawn Gary yesterday. So that does open up quite a bit of cap space here for Green Bay. We're going to kind of break that down and take a look at this. And I don't know, maybe something's a little bit brewing here for the green and gold and such. But other moves yesterday that affected the Packers, obviously, you know, Malik Willis, he is with the Miami Dolphins, which is no big surprise. Enoch Barre, he's heading to the New York Jets for a 1-year, $10 million deal. Quay Walker, he is heading over to the Raiders. Raiders spending a lot of cash yesterday. Quay Walker signing a 3-year, $40.5 million deal that includes $28 million guaranteed. So quite a few Packers, former Packers now, I guess we could say, signing some big deals. And maybe a Romeo Doubs, Rasheed Walker, those guys going to be in line either today or in the next couple of days and such. So, but Packers making a couple of other maybe, you know, for a lot of people, not big moves yesterday, but just kind of adding a little bit of depth. Christian Welch is back, backup linebacker, you know, maybe more so from a special teams perspective, kind of adding a little bit of depth to that and such. So, but maybe we'll see some more moves today when it comes to the Pack. But, you know, kind of our post-Glass and Mirror 715 Speaks poll question that we posted up last night on that Sports Talk Facebook page, given with what we have seen so far with the moves from Green Bay, and if you had to pick between these two, I kind of want to focus on these two positions. What do you think is the biggest need for Green Bay to address this offseason? You know, with Rashawn Gary gone, Colby Wooden gone, when you look at this group now, is it defensive line? Do you think Green Bay's biggest need is? You know, because beforehand it was, for a lot of people, it was corner. So, or do you think it's still corner? The vote's fairly tight. It's 60-40. It's 60-40, 60% in favor of defensive line. So let me know why you voted that way. If you didn't vote, who would you vote for? Do you think, considering the moves that we have seen so far from the Pack, has it changed maybe your thoughts or your opinions on what the biggest need is for Green Bay at this present time? Like, what would you kind of put on the priority list? Like, okay, this is priority one. They got to address this first. They got to fix this first. Let me know. All right. Hit me up with those texts or comments on the video stream and such on YouTube, where Joe's on YouTube already saying, good morning, Dan. Good morning, Joe. So plenty of football talk coming your way. We'll catch up with some Badgers. Badger basketball, obviously, we know, going to be in action on Thursday and such. But we'll chat with R.J. Cardinal, our Badger analyst. We'll get his thoughts on the Badger basketball team as we get set for the Big Ten Conference tournaments coming up here. Again, starts this week and such, but a few days away from Selection Sunday. Also, we'll throw a little hockey talk into this too, with the Big Ten tournament starting tomorrow for the men's hockey team. They're going to be taking on Ohio State. Take a look at for women's, the Badger women's hockey team getting the 2C, and so we'll talk a little bit about their run to maybe another national championship. Like the top 4 seeds in that bracket too. I don't know if anybody else saw it. All Big Ten teams. So yeah, pretty loaded. Pretty loaded there. So, but plenty of Badger chats with RJ Cardinal coming up here at about 8:20, so a little over 2 hours from now. So, what else we got on the dockets? We are also kind of adjusted some things moving forward. So normally it would have been yesterday. Tuesdays are now I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. So give me your best. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. Fill in the blanks. I'm not saying this, but I'm just saying that. It is still a Grind My Gears Tuesday, brought to you by our good friends from Toyson Ford. So if you have something that is grinding your gears, send it on over too. Plus another new segment that we're going to be doing on Tuesdays, something that we like to call a little Forgive Me Sports Gods. So kind of a little confession, sports confession. All right. This might be a good one, like during the football season, after a game on Sunday, you're all, overreaction Monday sort of thing. And then Tuesday's like, all right, I had some time to reflect and, forgive me for I was overreacting to this or that. Or maybe, you didn't wear the right pair of boxer briefs, and that's why the Brewers lost or something like that, and you got to do a little Forgive Me Sports Gods, okay? So it's a little confession time on Tuesday, sports-wise. If you got one, get it off your chest, all right? Tell us. You'll feel better, and you'll be forgiven. So have a little fun with this one, sports-related. What else do we got on the Bucks are back at action? If anybody's still, I hate to kind of downplay it, but I mean, it's the final quarter of the regular season here for the Milwaukee Bucks, and there is no tomorrow, to quote Apollo Creed from Rocky 3. Bucks, you got to go on a run now. It's got to start now. They're 4 games out from that final playoff spot, and little less than a quarter of the regular season to go here. And they got the Suns tonight, so you got to go. You got to go now. Pedal to the metal. And I don't, if I asked on a confidence scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you with the Bucks to go on a run and try to get into this playoff thing? I would imagine it's probably pretty low for a lot of people. I'm at a 2. But hey, well, maybe somebody else has a lot more confidence in that. But we'll talk a little baseball too. Brewers yesterday. Falling to the Dodgers in spring training 4-3. Bowers, though, he's continuing his nice spring. He had a home run for the Crew yesterday. So, but kind of taking a look at the pitching and such. Aaron Ashby got the starts, went 2 2/3, gave up 1 earned run, did strike out 4, did issue a couple of walks though too. So. But World Baseball Classic also continuing to roll. Team USA taking down Mexico last night 5-3. They're back at it against Italy tonight with a chance to get a spot in the quarterfinals. But Team USA undefeated so far in the World Baseball Classic. So, but we'll talk some baseball coming your way here this morning too. So, got a fully loaded game plan for the next few hours. Let's get things rocking and rolling this morning, shall we? We'll take our first break, and then the leadoff coming up here. We'll catch you all up on the latest with the NFL world, free agency, legal tampering, whatever the heck you want to call it, beginning yesterday. So we'll catch you up on all the Packers, notes, nuggets, rumors, reports, because, nothing can be official. Well, I shouldn't say nothing. Elton Jenkins release is, official in that. So, but we'll catch you up on everything that happened yesterday, day one of this NFL season. All right, we'll take our first break, and we'll be right back with the leadoff coming up after these quick words. Next Friday, we're going to be over at the VFW Post 305 for a little hoops skip day. We'll do the program over there, but the other fun stuff starts at 11 a.m. From 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. We'll have some free beverages. We'll have some prizes to be given away. We've got we just got the other day, yesterday actually, some Brewers Sports Talk magnetic schedules. We've got some B-Ball Sports Talk coasters and a bunch of other stuff to hand out to a bunch of people. So if you are taking the day off, like a lot of people do, to watch a little basketball, hang out with us at the VFW Post 305, located on Star Avenue, right in Eau Claire. So, all right, let's talk some football here this morning on the leadoff. Legal tampering, whatever we're going to call it, beginning yesterday, and a flurry of moves across the league. Malik Willis going to the Miami Dolphins, which is probably not the biggest surprise out there in the world. Other Packers, former Packers, Quay Walker signing with the Raiders, Enoch Barre signing with the Jets. I mean, you had Tyler Linderbaum, signing a massive deal with the Raiders. Raiders also getting Nakobe Dean. I mean, they got cash to spend, and they spent. Kenneth Walker, the Super Bowl MVP, is going to the Chiefs. So a lot of moves on I guess, day one. Legal tampering, free agency, unofficial free agency. We got to come up with a better phrase than legal tampering, I think. But nonetheless, a flurry of moves. And from a Packers sense of things, too, we know Rashawn Gary traded to the Dallas Cowboys for a fourth-round pick in the 2027 NFL Draft. And I think, as we were kind of talking about the other day, the fact that Goody was able to get a fourth-round pick for a guy that I think they were probably going to release, I think is a big win for the Packers, is a big win for Goody. Now, I know a lot of people are just going to like, oh, it's a fourth-round pick and all that. But the fact that you were able to get an early day 3 pick in return for something for someone that you were probably just going to release, and you open up a bunch of cap space with it, I'm in. I think that's a big thumbs up for Goody and the Packers. Other moves, the big one too, Elton Jenkins being released, officially announced by the Packers. So with those two moves, and obviously, Xavier McKinney, they kind of converted some of his money, same with Aaron Banks. The Packers are kind of in some decent salary cap space right now. I mean, if you look to Spot Track and you look at cap space right now, available cap space, Green Bay is actually in some decent shape when you kind of look at it. About 20 of and again, there's different websites, resources that you could kind of use and take a look at a lot of this stuff. But essentially, the Packers right now have about $33 million in cap space, but $18 million in effective cap space for the regular season. And the thing is if they really wanted to, they could create, I was reading, 50-some million dollars more in additional cap space if they restructured the remaining eligible players. So if they wanted to do that and they wanted to kick the can down a little bit more, they could. They probably won't, but they could. But guess point being is they're fairly healthy right now at this point. So if there was somebody out there that they really wanted and it was going to cost them a little bit, they have the ability to do so. They have that ability to do so. Yeah, I'm just going to throw a name out there. I'm not saying they're going to or anything, but let's say, hey, let's get Trey Hendrickson and pair it up with Micah Parsons. They have the money to do that. If there was somebody else out there that they wanted to just really target, they could. They have that ability to do so. May cost them a little bit down the road, but again, are they in a win-now mode? I think That answer is yes, at least in my opinion, and I think probably in a lot of other Packers fans' opinions out there. So, but now I'm kind of curious, what is the game plan for Green Bay going forward? Okay, you made the moves of Rashawn Gary and Elton Jenkins. You've acquired Zaire Franklin. We know Quay Walker's not back. Romeo Dobbs is not going to be back. Rasheed Walker's not going to be back. They re-signed Sean Ryan. What is now the biggest need after a few different moves after the first couple days? What is the biggest need? Is it corner? Is it defensive line? If we kind of just focus on those two, I think it's defensive line. And I'm kind of for when we say defensive line, I know it's still a little bit up in the air. Is it a 3-4? Is it a 4-3? Does it really matter? I'm including, the Micah Parsons and those guys with the defensive line for this, okay? So with the uncertainty, if Micah is actually going to be ready to go week one, I think you have to factor that into it because right now you look at this group and don't want to forget Enagbari's also gone too, signing with the Jets. Right now, week one, okay, let's assume maybe Micah Parsons is not ready to go week one. Right now, your edge rushers, whatever you want to call them, is Lucas Van Ness, is Colin Oliver, is Baron Sorrell. Interior defensive line, it's Devontae Wyatt, it's Carl Brooks, it's Nazir Stackhouse. It's pretty thin. So for me, in my opinion, I think from a priority standpoint, if they're looking at free agency right now, where would I allocate some of those resources, some of that money, or try to target some dudes? I'm probably looking at the defensive line. I'm looking at, are there any veterans? Any guys out there that, hey, maybe we can bring aboard for like a 1-year, 2-year deal where you're not committing a ton of money. You're not committing a big contract to, but maybe they're guys that are very solid players that can help you win right now. And it's guys that we have mentioned numerous times. Is it like a Calais Campbell? Is it, like a DJ, somebody like that? Are there any of those defensive linemen, whether they're ends, interior defensive line, that can come in for a year or two where you could throw a little cash to and really not kind of, I guess, make a big-time commitment? I think there are those guys out there. There are those players out there. And if it were me, again, not that Goody needs my opinion because he is a million times smarter than myself and a lot of us, I'd be like, okay, hey, let's maybe kind of use some of that cash that we have now available in our cap, and let's go target some defensive linemen. Get some depth in there. Get some better players in there. Help, improve a unit to stop the run and get some depth at getting after the quarterback. That's where I'd kind of look at it. Corners right there too. I mean, that I would say at least, okay, when you look at it from a depth perspective, it's not the greatest depth. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I don't think it's the greatest depth. But at least there's, I guess, bodies right there, and maybe that's something you could target, day 2 of the draft. I think you still target some interior defensive lineup and especially some offensive line depth when you get to the draft. But maybe you could find a corner that's still out there in free agency. Maybe a 1-year prove-it type of deal. Maybe that's where like a guy like a Greg Newsome comes in. And maybe he's like, hey, bring him in for a 1-year prove-it deal. Come in, ball out, hit up free agency next year, He's still 25. He's going to be 26 this year. He can still hit free agency next year and kind of hit it big. But for me right now, it is defensive line. Try to go find a couple of guys. Because I think right now, defensive line, whoever they bring in, I mean, they got to be dudes who are going to be playing right now. Those are guys that you got to play right now. Is it a Jonathan Allen? Is it, there's veterans available out there. It's just, will Green Bay pull that trigger and make that move and bring those guys in? So I agree with the majority of it's close. I don't want to say it's a wide majority, but I agree with the majority of a lot of people in that poll question that we posted up there. What do you think right now, based off the moves that Green Bay has made, is the biggest priority? And I would say it is defensive line. For sure. Because Micah needs help. Lucas Van Ness showed some glimpses last year, but we didn't get a big sample size of it because of his injuries. And then, okay, Baron Sorrell, in his very limited snaps towards the end of the season especially. All right, Colin Oliver, still incredibly a big unknown. But are we ready to hand the reins to those guys and say, all right, we need that big sophomore jump, even though you didn't get a ton of playing time in your rookie years? I'd be a little nervous with that too. But I think for me, probably the top three biggest needs still at this point in time is defensive line, it's corners, and then I would throw maybe a little offensive line depth, even though they did bring back Kennard too, which I think that's kind of maybe, I don't know if that would be a full-on swing tackle. I know he's gotten more experience in the right side, right tackle, right guard and such, but I like that move, bringing him back on a 1 year, a little over $3 million deal, just to add some depth to that. So they got that on there. I would like to see some more depth. Interior, definitely, like, who is your primary backup left tackle? Who's the go-to guy? Who is the primary backup left tackle at this point? Got to figure that out too. There's still more to be done from a depth perspective when it comes to that offensive line. Those are my top three needs right now. So, all right, let's take a quick break. Plenty more to get to here this morning. Hit me up with some text, 715-830-1912. We'll be right back in just a few minutes. Pain doesn't have to slow you down, and at Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, their experienced team is focused on getting you back to doing what you love, whether that's competing on the field, staying active, or simply moving without discomfort. From joint pain and sports injuries to advanced surgical and non-surgical treatments, they provide personalized care designed around you. Local experts, advanced techniques, real results. If pain is holding you back, take the next step towards recovery. Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, helping you move better every day. Got a phone call here really quick, but I just want to catch up on a couple of really quick texts here. We've got Living Dream. Jeff says, at this point, interior defensive line, Wyatt could use a little help in the middle. Big guys who help stop the run, like Wyatt, takes up a couple of blockers to help out the edge boys. Jeremy says, I'm just saying that the cap and the dead cap hits are out of control. Tua having a dead cap hit over $99 million, which is more than the entire cap in 2005. I actually like dead cap hits because I think that holds teams accountable. Because if they're going to go and spend these exuberant amount of money on players and such, then it's not as easy to just release them after a year or two. It kind of holds teams accountable for their big contracts that they're going to give. He also says, I'm just saying the Sean Ryan deal looks even better now that the center market was reset by Vegas. Completely agree. I would completely agree with that, Jeremy. Okay, let's head to the Shoe Doctor's bullpen line. It took a quick phone call this morning, and welcome aboard, C-Bomb. Good morning, C-Bomb. How are you?
Good morning, El Capitano. I'm doing well this Tuesday morning. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. What was your thoughts so far on the moves by the green and gold from the last few days and such?
I love it. I think this move I don't think it's getting enough credit. The move that Goody made with Rashawn Gary, going from a $28 million dead cap hit, which you just talked about, to fleecing the Cowboys once again and getting a pick in return. If you would have told me between he and Elton Jenkins, who could we trade and get something for, I would have never thought anyone would be dumb enough to go after Rashawn Gary. That was a great move by Goot, in my opinion.
I am really surprised he was able to get a fourth-round pick. I know it's not for this year, but still, to get a fourth-round pick in return for him, it's just, I'm really, especially since, I don't know if that was necessarily hacked, but since, Rashawn Gary kind of tweeted out, Instagrammed that goodbye and such, the fact that he was still able to get a fourth round after that was pretty darn impressive.
It was. My jaw dropped when I saw that. I was like, oh my gosh, just giving him away and getting out of that contract. That was great. And good luck to Rashawn Gary. I love what he did for Green Bay. I felt like he didn't give enough effort out there all the time, kind of like he did at Michigan, but good for him. Hopefully he can revive his career down there with Kenny Clark, and hopefully we can beat his rear end when we meet him.
I agree. All right. Before I get to, because I think you've got a little confession to make here, what do you think is the biggest need right now for Green Bay after all these moves? Defensive line or corner?
Defensive line. I think, corner's a need as well, but I think, we've lost quite a bit of depth now. With Gary gone, now we got LVN and Barre gone. I wish they could have re-signed him, and we need to get help for Devontae Wyatt. But I think Good will handle that. And like you said, they got some cap room, so they'll probably bring in, like you talked all last week, Class B or C free agents that can plug the gaps and help us win games. So I don't think we're going to see any big splash things. But, if they did make a splash and went after Trey Hendrickson, I mean, I don't want to pay the piper in 3 or 4 years, but that would be pretty cool.
Well, hey, before I get to you, we got a little Packers breaking news. So I think I'm the first to tell you this right now. Ian Rappaport just tweeted, the Packers are now adding on defense, agreeing to terms with former Chargers cornerback Benjamin St. Just. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce, but it's a 2-year, $10 million deal for him coming to the Packers. The Packers adding a corner right now to that defense.
There we go. There we go. Their next move will be defensive line then.
Yep.
I guess Goody. That's pretty awesome. That's good. No, he's a solid player. That's good. The Class B, Class C free agents. That's what we need. Guys who are proven.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and not a lot of money committed to him either. So, and it's a veteran. I mean, he's 28 years old, so he's been around here for. And he's like 6'3". Okay, probably some people might know him a little bit more. He played college ball at Minnesota. So there you go.
Yeah. No, that's great. That's it's another former Packer, getting his bag and reviving his career. And congratulations to him. I thought Eric Stokes.
Yeah.
Good job by him getting a good deal.
Yeah. 3 year, $30 million deal. Yeah, that dude. All the credit in the world to him for sure, no doubt about it. Really quick, I was just looking up Benjamin's Pro Football Focus grade. Maybe Packers fans will like this. Ranked 11th out of 114 corners last year. So there you go.
Nice. Yeah, I didn't realize that. That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Very good. Well done by Goot once again. We'll see what happens.
I like it. All right. You got a confession to make on Forgive Me, Sports Gods?
I do. I got my weekly confessional with Father El Capitano here. I gotta apologize to this. I gotta apologize to the sports gods, and I'm gonna rewind this a bit, and I'm gonna set the table. I was born in 1976, right? I'm the big 5-0 now. Oh. I grew up with Lynn Dickey and Randy Wright. Okay, my quarterback situation was bleak when I was a kid, and then enter Don Mikowski, who gave us a little life, and then came in one Brett Lorenzo Favre. And I will tell you, I loved that guy. I was in high school watching his career blossom, and he won us a Super Bowl, and I loved him. I used to say he's the only guy that could live with my wife and live to tell about it. He was my favorite player. Fast forward, and this is what I have to ask the sports gods for forgiveness for. When he left and went to Minnesota, and in 2010, the championship game, when he threw that pick against the Saints, to this day, I have never cheered harder and louder. I was at my neighbor, Mike Gregory, across the street, who's listening to this program, I'm sure. Everybody in the state of Wisconsin could have heard me. I lost my voice instantly when he threw that interception. And looking back, I have to apologize to the sports god for cheering for failure for my idol that I had. The very next year, Aaron Rodgers wins us a Super Bowl and goes on to have a prolific career, and never once did I feel nearly as close to Aaron Rodgers, nor did I appreciate Aaron Rodgers like I did Brett Favre. And I think that's the sports gods taking away love for players because of what I did to Mr. Favre.
Oh, that's kind of deep there, C-Bomb. Way to that you're setting the bar high for our new segment. I like it. All right. Good stuff, man.
I had to publicly apologize to Mr. Favre. The thing is, and it wasn't so much his failure. It was more to just kind of stick it to Vikings fans, like, now you know what it's like to lose a championship game on an interception.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Now, at least they didn't have to sit through like negative 50 degrees to go through that either, too. So, but man, that was yeah. I agree.
This is true. You and I were both at that game, and I will never forget it. And that's the last play we ever got to see in the Packers uniform. It's just it was awful.
Yep.
And those sports gods really, I always loved Aaron Rodgers as a player, but I never felt attached to him like I did Favre, and I don't think I ever will to a player. But hopefully the sports gods one day will let me have that type of appreciation for a single player again.
And I wonder if it's just kind of, the older we get. Like I kind of made the comment a few days ago, when we're talking about jerseys and such. Like, I don't know, I'm getting to that point where it's kind of weird for me to wear a jersey of somebody who's quite a bit younger than me, but I have no problem wearing a jersey maybe of somebody from when I was younger or even older than me, like the Don Hudsons and the Bart Starrs. So I wonder if, just because we're getting older in life, if that's kind of the mindset.
I think it is the mindset, Del Capitano. I'm the same way. For me, the jerseys I wear either have a story or it's a former player. Like one jersey I will wear with pride is my Clay Matthews jersey. Another one is my Charles Woodson jersey. And I've got every Brett Favre jersey outside of his Vikings jersey. So I'll wear those as well.
Yep, same here.
But yeah, got to have a story, not the younger ones.
I agree. All right, buddy. Appreciate that phone call, man. Good to hear your voice. We'll talk again soon, okay?
Thanks for having me, my brother. Have a great day.
There you go. There's C-Bomb hopping off on the Shoe Doctor's bullpen line this morning. Tell you what, let's take a really quick break and chat a little bit more about this new cornerback that is coming to the Packers. Packers adding a corner. We'll tell you a little bit more about Benjamin after these quick words. Don't forget, you can sign up right now, pre-register, pre-sign up for our bracket challenge. Selection Sunday coming up this Sunday. So head to sportstalk1051.com, click on that Fan Cave tab, and sign up for our bracket challenge coming up in, it's already just a few days away and such. So, all right, so the Packers, of course, again, if you're just joining us this morning, the what's going on here with my computer? What the heck just happened? I think my computer is haunted right now. Wow. What? Okay, never mind. Yeah, we got some crazy stuff going on in the studio right now, you guys. So if you're just joining us, the Packers signing a corner. Ian Rappaport reporting that the Packers have signed cornerback Benjamin St. Juste. Spent last year with the Chargers, previous few seasons was with the Washington Commanders, and he is a bigger corner, 6'3", listed about 200 pounds. If you look at Pro Football Focus grades, he was actually graded fairly high, a nice bounce back year from last year compared to his final year with the Commanders, but an overall grade of a 75.6, which was 11th out of 114 cornerbacks last year. Not a ton of interceptions, but I was reading a little bit too, trying just to find a little bit during the break here, and this was from Bill Huber, who actually wrote about him a little bit. Was it last week or so? Pro Football Focus charged him with a catch rate of just 47.5%. Last year, had 7 passes defended, and in 2023, he actually had 17 passes defensed, was one of the league leaders in that department. So outside corner coming over to the Packers. Packers addressing their cornerback needs with this signing. So I guess, first blush, first thoughts, first reaction, looks like a solid signing. I mean, 2-year, $10 million deal. And we'll see the complete breakdown and such, but obviously not a big time money commitment to this. It's a veteran coming in here too, so why not add some guys, add some depth? Got a little height to this too. I was watching some clips during the break on YouTube and that. Made a couple nice run stops on the perimeter. So, all right, here we go. We got a corner. Now we go to defensive line, right? After all we were just talking about, what's the biggest priority? What's the biggest need? What's number one on that wish list? It's got to be defensive line. Well, Goody apparently said, we're going to go get our corner first. They got our corner, so all right, let's go get that defensive line. So add that in. Now, what do you think about some of the decisions, some of the moves that Green Bay has made in the early goings of this offseason? I like it. I like the direction that it's going right now. I really do. So I would imagine, never say never, but I would assume this probably means like a no Greg Newsome or anything like that. I would imagine that's probably not going to be the case. Maybe we'll be surprised, but I think now you kind of focus on let's add a couple of veterans on that defensive line for Green Bay. That's kind of where I would go. But again, not as smart as Goody. So we'll see how we'll see what kind of transpires here in the next day, next few hours or such. Because I still feel like we're going to get some more moves made. I feel like we're still going to see, in the coming days here, more additions to this Packers squad. Maybe that's where we'll see some more defensive linemen and such. So, but no, I like the move of bringing in Benjamin to the cornerback group. All right, we got a few minutes left to the top of the hour. We'll keep you posted if anything else does happen in the next few hours here for Green Bay. But give me your analysis. Give me your thoughts. Do you like what Goody? Do you like what Green Bay has been doing so far in this early goings of this offseason? Let me know. Hit me up with a text, 715-830-1912 on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line. We'll hit that up. Thanks to C-Bomb for giving us his Forgive Me Sports Guys. If you got a sports confession that you would like to pass along, have a little fun with this, send it on over. It is a Toyson Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday, and I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. So lots to hit up with that. We'll talk some baseball and hoops coming up next hour as well. But we'll say good morning to Morgan. Good morning.
Hey, how's it going, Kasper?
I am doing good. Doing good.
When you were a kid in school, did you pack your own lunch? Did you go school lunch? Did you
School lunch.
school lunch all the time?
Mm-hmm.
What about Huts?
Oh, we've got to pack it every day.
Okay, does he have a lunch box?
Yeah.
Of?
Nike.
Okay, did you have, so you, if you were a school lunch kid, you didn't have your own lunch box, or did you have one? It's National Lunchbox Day. So I have a list of the most valuable lunch boxes out there, but I was wondering if you had a friend that had like the one that was coveted, because they were a big deal for a while. They were kind of like,
I think I had one as a kid, but I never like used it for school lunch.
they were kind of like the backpack for food.
Yeah.
Like there was a moment in time where certain lunch boxes were cooler to have than others, you know.
The thermos that you got with it.
Right,
and
right.
that, yeah.
So we have Howdy Doody on the top 10 list. Then it's Puffin' Stuff from the 70s.
Okay.
The Munsters, you know that show?
Yep.
Apparently there's about an $800 Munsters lunchbox. If you want to go clean out your closets, you can look for a Star Trek one. That's worth $1,500. Then we get into like bigger numbers. The Lone Ranger, $1,250. Dudley Do-Right, almost $3,000. Mickey Mouse, the Beatles, and then top of the list. Want to take a guess?
Star Wars?
No.
Ooh. Okay.
Think superheroes.
Is it Superman?
It is Superman, yes. There's often cited as the most valuable vintage lunchbox. $15,000 on some listings. Are you kidding me?
See, everybody makes fun of hoarders, but this is why people hoard.
Okay, that's where you and I separate. I cannot deal with clutter at all. No
But
way.
wouldn't you regret if you knew somebody had that?
Here's
and then,
the
like,
thing.
20 years later, you could have had $20,000 or something.
Everybody thinks they have this that's in my hand, this list of,
Antiques
and you
Roadshow.
don't. You don't. My gosh, I watched a great episode of the Antiques Roadshow. That's like one of my guilty pleasure shows.
Mm-hmm.
I love that show. But they were going through like some of their best and most favorite ever things to come through the lineup, and that is so fun to see because half the stuff I would admittedly I'd put in the junk pile. I'd be like, whatever, junk it because I need to purge and get rid of stuff. What's something you actually are hanging on to that you think, no, this is worth something right now? Do you have cards? I mean, that's kind of
I've
legit.
got cards.
Yeah.
I've got cards. So I just purchased something that probably, I don't know if it's going to be worth anything, but it's unique.
Okay, is this a secret or can you tell the class?
I can tell it now because I finally got it in the mail.
What
so.
is it?
It is it 8mm film? Like the big old like film 8mm.
Okay.
You know?
The big reels?
Yeah. NFL Films 1965 Packers highlights.
Ooh, how are you going to run it?
No idea.
Yeah, you're going to have to go back to an old classroom and get like that. I remember winding those things up and then it would click.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to ask somebody if they have one of those old
Probably have to have it,
reel-to-reels.
I'd like it restored and all that too, or like converted so I can actually watch it.
Oh, there you go. I bet
Yeah.
somebody out there knows where you can get your hands on something like
But it was
that.
actually from Zeke Bratkowski, former Packer player collection.
So where'd you find it online?
Yeah.
And
I
you-
just wanted a unique item for the man cave.
That would be a cool thing to
So
sit and
sports
watch.
history and all that. So it's like this big. It's like
Yeah.
a 14 by 14
Okay.
leather case.
Well, here's the thing, too. If the season takes a dump, you can just put on old
65
footage
highlights,
and be
yeah.
like, back in the day.
Yep, exactly.
Turning the man cave into a little history outlet.
Yep.
Nice.
So, all right. Thanks, Morgs.
Hey, anytime.
1 quarter in. We got 3 more to go. We'll be back after these news updates. Second hour is kicking off right now. Second quarter tips off right now. Thanks for hanging out with us this morning. Whether you are listening on the radio dials or maybe online, video stream app, whatever the case may be, we appreciate it. Hit us up with some texts. Got a lot of things out there that I want to get your input on, okay? Living a Dream, Jeff, I know you've got some sports confessions, man. You haven't been all, hunky-dory probably with your sports stuff. So come on now. Confess your sins, Living a Dream, Jeff. Hit me up with a message, all right? New segment every Tuesday, Forgive Me Sports Gods. Do a little sports confessions out there. So good one from C-Bomb in the first hour. Surveyor Sam, if you're listening to, I know you've got a few of them. So it is also a Toyson Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday. What is grinding your gears? Get it off your chest. Let us know. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. I'm not saying blank, but I'm just saying blank. Fill in the rest and send it on over. Best ones I'll read up on the air. We'll get back to some more football talk, but if you're just waking up and joining us, where have you been? Set that alarm a little bit earlier. Packers reportedly signing a corner, Benjamin St. Juste, coming over on a 2-year, $10 million deal. Former Gopher, actually spent a little bit of time with the Michigan Wolverines. Was drafted in the third round by Washington, spent last year with the Chargers. Pro Football Focus ranked him as the 11th, gave him a 74.5 grade, which was 11th best out of over 100 corners last year from Pro Football Focus. So adding a little bit more to the cornerback room. Maybe this now means Green Bay will focus on defensive line depth. We'll see. But how would you assess the job that Goody and the Packers have done so far in the early goings of the NFL offseason? Let me know, okay? Let me know. So we'll get back to plenty more football talk coming up next hour. We'll catch up with RJ Cardinal, talk some Badgers with him. We got Badger playoff hockey. Obviously, the Big Ten Conference Tournament starting this week. Badgers will be in action on Thursday. So we'll talk some hoops with RJ as well, just kind of looking at now Joe Lenardi's constantly updating the bracketology that is out there. If anybody's kind of wondering where Wisconsin is at in his bracketology, still as a 6th seed. A lot of them have Wisconsin potentially playing Iowa State in the round of 32. So, but yeah, we'll talk some hoops, talk some playoff hockey with RJ as well. Bucks are back in action tonight, going up against the Phoenix Suns. On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you? And I almost kind of chuckle at asking this question, but how confident are you in the Bucks, like going on a major run here and kind of just racking up a lot of wins to get into the postseason? 4 games behind the Hornets right now for that final playoff spot, and we're already into the fourth quarter of this season based off the mathematically. So my confidence, 2. I'm just going to say it's a 2. So, but maybe somebody out there is a lot more confident, or maybe they're just a lot more, they got a lot more faith. If you do, I need to hear it, because I'm all about having some faith right now. So if you got it, share it with the rest of us so we could get back on board on this thing. Spring training continues to roll right along. The next Brewers game that is on the Sports Talk schedule, let me bring up the schedule from the studio in here. It looks like it'll be on Friday the 13th, when the Brewers take on the A's. So that'll be the next Brewers spring training game on the radio. But the Brewers were on the radio yesterday, taking on the Dodgers, a 4-3 loss for the Brewers. But Brewers also kind of making some moves, lowering, I don't think that's the best way, minimizing their roster a little bit. Jesus Mate returning to minors camp. Brewers doing those roster adjustments. The further we get into the spring training season, the closer we get into the regular season and such. So starting to make those moves as we inch closer and closer and closer to the start of the regular season. But in yesterday's game, Bowers hitting a home run, couple walks as well for him. I know it wasn't that long ago we were talking about, hey, could Tyler Black maybe, outplay Bowers and get on this team? But right now, all Jake Bowers is doing is crushing the baseball in spring training. In 17 at-bats, he is hitting .529, an OPS of a 1.843, and 3 dingers. Dude's also got 3 stolen bases, for crying out loud, on there. But, yeah, Bowers is hitting incredibly well so far in spring training. And I know that's not the be-all, tell-all. I mean, look at our third baseman from last year. So, but, yeah, I think right now, and I know Tyler Black's playing in the World Baseball Classic and such, Jake Bowers is going to make this team. He's going to make this team. I mean, he's not doing anything in spring training that would say that the Brewers are going to move on from him. Right, he's playing well, and you got to give him a ton of credit for that too. So, but yesterday too we had Aaron Ashby on the mound for the Brew Crew, getting the quote start. Went 2 2/3, giving up 4 hits, 1 earned run. Did strike out 4. Also issued a couple of walks in the game too. But Frelick got a few at bats. Yelich got a couple of at bats. We mentioned Bowers on there too. So. But yeah, we're getting pretty darn a couple weeks away, a couple weeks away until when we get to when games actually matter. Another guy too, we should probably give a little bit of a tip of the cap to for how well he has played in spring training from an offensive standpoint is Brandon Lockridge. We talk about the outfield and the depth and how many jobs are actually open for the Major League roster. And Brandon Lockridge has been playing really well in spring training too. In 17 at-bats, he's also hitting .353, an OPS of a 1.287, and he's got a couple home runs on his resume. So, I mean, this was a guy that the Brewers acquired last year. And when you look at the outfield, it's Frelick, Chirio, Garrett Mitchell, Blake Perkins. But could Brandon Lockridge play his way on this team? Is he a possibility? Is it possible? What if the Brewers only want to keep 4 outfielders? Because, Yelich can play a little bit out there. Bowers has played a little bit out there. Would Lockridge get, I don't know, the advantage over, let's say, a guy like Blake Perkins, the comfy blanket that I like to call him? I don't know. Is that something? Because right now, let me bring up what let's see if I can bring up what Blake Perkins has been doing so far in spring training. So Perkins in 18 at-bats. Again, these numbers, I know, it's just, you're talking about just 17, 18 at-bats and such. But Perkins, .333 in 18 at-bats, a .798 OPS, no home runs and such, but it's not like he's been awful by any means. So, I don't know, something to maybe watch a little bit there too. Could Lockridge find his way on this Major League club? But schedule-wise, you know that the Brewers will not be on the radio today. They don't have a game today, a little bit of an off day, but they'll be back at it tomorrow when they take on the Reds. Rest of the schedule here, then you got the Guardians on Thursday, the A's on Friday, split squad action on Saturday when they take on the Rockies. So, all right, let's take a quick break. World Baseball Classic too. How much have you been enjoying this thing? Last night, Team USA defeating Mexico 5-3 to remain undefeated. That Bobby Witt Jr. play last night. Wow. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go look it up. It's all over the place. Wow. The diving stop, the throw from the knees, insane. That was like jaw-dropping, sweetness play. Oh, man. I've been a Bobby Witt Jr. fan for like a couple of years, and so like a casual one, not a diehard Sal Frelick one, because Sal Frelick's the GOAT. But Man, that was such a sweet play last night by Bobby Witt Jr. Do yourself a favor if you appreciate solid defense, especially from a shortstop in baseball, go look that thing up. It was awesome. And the World Baseball Classic has been awesome so far, I think. It's been a lot of fun. And we got USA back at it tonight, taking on Italy. If USA wins, they will clinch a spot in the quarterfinals. So right now we got Japan's in action too. So yeah, we got games throughout the day here. So all right, let's take a quick break. Plenty more to get to here though. All right, but I got to hear from you. Give me your sports confessions. Give me your grind my gears Tuesdays. Give me your I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. How do you assess what Green Bay has done so far in the early stages of free agency? Let me know. All right, let me know. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back after these quick words. Tax season is here, and what about that refund check? It's more than just extra spending money. Look at it as an opportunity, people, because this year, why not invest it right in your own home, right where you live, for crying out loud? Upgrade your home with a beautiful new floor from Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire. And whether it's new carpet, maybe some Rigid Max flooring, some waterproof options, especially this time of year, right? Kids coming in and out, snow, rain, melting, all that stuff. Now is the time to make it happen. Your tax return could go a long way towards transforming the look and feel of your home. And at Carpet City Flooring Center, you will find the expert guidance, professional installation, and flooring options for every budget. Don't let that refund disappear on maybe some things you won't remember next month. Put it towards something that you will see and enjoy every single day. Stop on in the Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire and turn your tax return into a home upgrade that you will love for years to come. Speaking of like that wet weather and such, probably a good reminder for tomorrow morning. Stay tuned to our website, sportstalk1051.com, because it sounds like we're going to get some snow coming up here, depending on where you're listening to us from. So might just be a good reminder to head to our website for the WEAU 13 News First Alert School Closings, brought to you by Hovland's and Service Master. So if we do have any school closings, make sure that you want to check out that list to see if your school is delayed or closed. Maybe the kiddos get another day off and such. But just a good reminder that winter still isn't quite over with yet here in Wisconsin, right? Not quite. Not quite. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. I'm not saying teams that have good or what is perceived as really good moves in the offseason are the teams that win, when it comes to the championships and such. We've seen that so many times. So many times. The teams that go out there and win free agency are not always the teams that go out there and win when it actually matters. But I'm just saying, what I think Goody is doing right now are some smart moves, some solid moves, some, good moves. I honestly, I don't feel like there has been a move made so far from the Packers or a decision so far from the Packers that I've just kind of been, last year was like the Aaron Banks one. I think a lot of us were kind of like, that's a lot of cash for Aaron Banks. And I think we kind of gave the benefit of the doubt because at the same time we were like, okay, Billy Turner too was like, Billy Turner turned out fairly well for a few years. And, you look at Aaron Banks' play last year, it was, I guess, at best, very up and down. But I look at this year, and I look at some of the decisions thus far and some of the moves thus far from Green Bay, and honestly, I think they're – and again, we won't know how these all play out until we get to games and we get to, the actual stuff on the field and the performances and such. I think these have been smart moves so far by Green Bay, by Goody. To be able to get a fourth-round pick in return for Rashawn Gary, that's a plus. To get a linebacker, a veteran linebacker like Zaire Franklin, because I think part of it was, it's just my opinion, but I think part of it was the fact that they probably knew that Quay Walker had priced himself out of what Green Bay was willing to give him. So in exchange, they go get a veteran linebacker that's under contract for a couple years that doesn't have any more guaranteed money attached to that contract either. Then moving on from Melton Jenkins, you clear up all that cap space. You had a couple of special teams players like Christian Welch and such. You bring back Kennard, backup tackle, and now the reported move of Benjamin St-Juste as your corner. They're not moves that are like what the Raiders are doing. And then, of course, the Sean Ryan one, which I would agree that I think, a few people have mentioned this already. That deal kind of looks better considering how the Raiders kind of reset the center market. And I would agree with that. So I like these moves. Not saying that they're going to be the eye-popping, jaw-dropping moves. Can't believe they did that, or man, they're spending a boatload of cash and that. I think they're strategic moves and moves that a lot of us, I think, leading up to free agency and that, we're just kind of like, can we maybe get some veterans added to this group? Can we get some maybe proven players, maybe just some veteran depth to this young roster? For the last couple of years, Packers have had the youngest or one of the youngest rosters in the league. And the question has been thrown out there time and time again has been, do they need more veterans? Would they be better? Would they be able to finish these games? And maybe that's part of it, because you go back, and we all saw it last year, their inability to finish games, their inability to close out games. Is that based off of inexperience? Is that based off of, that it's a younger roster? And then you hear Goody time and time again, and, in his couple of media sessions this year, really focus on, we have to figure out ways to close out games. We have to be better at that. We have to, when we have these leads, finish it. And you look at a couple of these moves now, like, okay, you're bringing in a veteran linebacker who is a former team captain, well-respected voice, apparently from the Colts, and Zaire Franklin. You're replacing Quay Walker, who's got a ton of athleticism, but, maybe some inconsistent play, with a veteran. And then you're bringing in a veteran corner. Now, we'll see what maybe some of the other moves are kind of on the horizon here for Green Bay, but, maybe that's part of the thinking here from Brian Gutekunst is, I want to bring in some veteran players, some veteran guys that can maybe help us with our biggest issue right now, which is closing out games, finishing games. I don't know if Benjamin St. Juste is going to be the magic, the formula or the prescription, whatever we want to call it, to say, all right, that's instantly going to help us close out these games, or Zaire Franklin on defense is instantly going to help us, close out these games. But you add in some guys who've been around the league for a few years, been around the block here for a little bit, and you add them to this little bit of a younger roster, it can't hurt. And what I would say to maybe a lot of Packers fans right now who are saying, well, these aren't like flashy moves and, they're not playmakers or difference makers and such. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe they're not. But are they moves that are hurting Green Bay right now? I don't think so. So they may not be the flashiest of flashy, and they may not be like what the Raiders are doing, but the Raiders have to spend all that money, and they got a boatload of cash and such, and they're just completely rebuilding in that. But the fact that they're adding some of these veterans instead of, that's a six-string linebacker, sixth linebacker on the depth chart, or a backup, safety that is only, maybe fourth on the depth chart. They're adding guys right now that are going to be asked to be contributors right away, and probably even starters right away. So I think from all the moves, from what we have seen thus far from Green Bay, I like it. And honestly, I don't feel like they're done. I don't feel like they're close to being done at this point. If there's one thing that I would be shocked and surprised when it comes to Green Bay, I would be shocked and surprised if they did not add a defensive lineman in free agency. Maybe a couple of them. I would be surprised considering the depth and some of the moves that they have made. Colby Wooden and Rashawn Gary and the unknown of Micah being ready for week one. And Enoch Barre gone. I would be surprised if they don't sit there and say, okay, we got to maybe add a guy, at least a guy, maybe a couple. That would be the biggest surprise to me at this point. But considering some of the stuff that we have seen thus far, my confidence is fairly high that they are going to add a guy or two from the defensive line. And when was the last time, the last few years, last couple of years, I think if you haven't kind of gotten rid of that notion, well, the Packers don't do anything in the offseason, they don't do anything in free agency, they don't do this, they don't do that, you're still stuck in the Ted Thompson days. I'm not trying to knock Ted Thompson or anything like that, but, I mean, you look at Goody and some of the stuff that he has done and the moves that they have made in the offseason the last few years, it is not a straight-up Ted Thompson. It's not. You're lying to yourself if you think it still is. I don't need to go down the entire list of when he was first GM, like 2018 and that. Some years, there wasn't really any moves. Maybe they could have because handcuffed with salary cap constraints and all that stuff. But you can't sit there and say right now that Goody, and we could kind of criticize some of the moves and decisions that he has made as a GM. We can look at the Nate Hobbs signing last year and the Aaron Banks signing last year. Did they work? Right now, doesn't look like it. But the other moves that he has made, he's made moves that have worked. I don't know if these moves are going to work this year or not. But glad they're just not resting on their laurels and saying, hey, we're a playoff caliber team, because you hear him at the combine and such saying, I think we've got a roster that could compete and such. And maybe for some people they thought, okay, that means he's not going to make any moves. I'm just glad they're not resting on their laurels. You may believe that you have a roster that can win a lot of games right now, but add to it. Make it a little bit deeper. Make it a little bit better. And I think that's what Goody's been doing. And I think that's what he's done more times than not. He's taken some swings, right? I mean, to use the Little League, the baseball analogy, tell your kids up there, don't be afraid to swing. Swing the bat. Take the bat off the shoulder. Don't always just hope for the walk, or don't always hope for, okay, you get 4 balls and the coach is going to come out there and pitch. Swing at your pitch. If there's a good pitch, swing at it. Don't be afraid. And I'm just glad that Goody's not afraid to make some moves. Not all of them are going to work, but he's not resting on the laurels, and he's not just saying, we're just going to focus primarily on the draft and, all right, maybe a free agent once every 5 years. No. All right, we got to take a quick break. Plenty more to get to, though. Continue to send me your thoughts, your analysis so far on what we've seen from Green Bay and their offseason moves. And maybe right now, of all the moves, let's kind of do an informal poll question on the fly here. What's been your favorite one? There's been a few now. But what's been your favorite one? Take a quick break. Back with more coming up after these quick words. When it comes to quality meat, you don't guess. You go right to the experts at Mike's Star Market in Eau Claire. You're not just buying meat, but you're buying experience. Hand-cut steaks, fresh ground beef, house-made brats and sausages, thick-cut chops done exactly the way you like them. This is your neighborhood butcher shop where quality comes first and service still matters. Planning a cookout, stocking up for the week, or maybe looking for that perfect steak for dinner tonight? Stop on in to Mike's Star Market in Eau Claire and taste the difference that a real butcher makes. Mike's Star Market, fresh, local, and done right. We got to get C-Bomb. You're getting people asking if you're going to be at the VFW Post 305 next Friday. So putting the pressure on you, man. Putting the pressure. We know you're not a big hoops guy. But if you want to hang out with some peeps, going to have to go hang out with us, VFW. All right? Just had dinner there last night. Went to a card shout out to the card collecting club, Brian and such, for what he does for kids in the area for card collecting and such. So took Hudson over there for a baseball card event and had a little dinner there. Always good food at our good friends VFW Post 305. So all right, Surveyor, you're chiming in. I got to hear your sports confession. It's confession day, new segments. Forgive me, sports gods. What's your sports confession? Make it appropriate. But he says the best move is being able to trade Rashawn for a fourth chef's kiss. And then earlier, Benjamin in Eau Claire said, it sounds like our new corner acquisition is an amazing deal. My question is, why would a team let the 11th graded corner walk, and why is he so cheap? Definitely excited about the move, though. It's a fair question, Benjamin. I think part of it is, his first 4 years in Washington weren't that great. I was reading 3 of his 4 years. He had allowed a quarterback rating of over 100. Wasn't necessarily a full-time player for the Chargers last year. So I think that's part of it. I think has a lot to do with it. I will be curious to see what kind of the breakdown really is with his contract. I mean, granted, 2 years, $10 million, up to 10.5 isn't. It's easy for us. It's a lot, but for that line of work, it's not a big time investment. But I will be curious to see if it's something that maybe they could get out of 1 year. If it's easy to move on after 1 year, we'll kind of see. I'm kind of curious what the signing bonus and the guaranteed portion money of that is, because that's the biggest thing when it comes to these contracts and such. So, but I still don't mind. I mean, maybe take a little bit of a gamble. Maybe, okay, he had a good year last year with the Chargers. Is it, does that mean we have to ignore the first, few seasons he was with the Commanders? No, it shouldn't. But obviously what he did with the Commanders was an improvement, and that's what Green Bay is banking on, is that he's going to maybe play similar to what he did with the Chargers last year, maybe even elevate it. So, we'll see. We'll just have to wait and see. Nobody knows. Nobody knows how it's all going to work out at this point in time. But then we had a little bit earlier. What was it? We've got. All right, Paul and Zach. Zach says on the YouTube stream, looks like the Packers are making moves right away this morning. Looks like they have a new corner. Paul says we should have a competition to see who can guess how many hats Dan has. I'm not saying Dan has a hat addiction. I'm just saying he has a lot of hats. Okay, so getting off on a little tangent. I do have a hat addiction. I am on the ever looking quest for the perfect go-to hat, and I don't think I'll ever find it. I would love to minimize my hat collection. In fact, a few months ago I did. And I'm not kidding. I've got a closet. All right. There's 2 closets. One closet is shirts, pants. The other closet, T-shirts and hats. I have a lot of Packer ones. And I have now decided to move a lot of hats, mostly Packers ones that I don't wear, into storage. And then I have 3, you hang them from a one of those rods in your closet, and I don't know how many hats they hold, but they're like clips on there, and they hold up. So like those are my go-to hats or my wear hats. I honestly, one time I counted close to 100. And hats aren't cheap anymore. And there is one particular hat that I still want. I was actually looking up this morning. It's the Timber Rattlers, the Frozen Pizzas hats. So, yeah, I am on the ever-looking quest for a new hat almost every week. I am addicted. I would love to have just one go-to hat, but I don't. And I'm very picky about my hats. If it don't feel right, I can't wear it. Because there's some of them, I love the look of them, and I love the design of them, but they stink to wear. They're not comfortable. If I could have my own hat line, I would. If I could have my own man cave themed hat line with like phrases or designs or something like that, I would love that, to have our own hat line. That would be cool. I would also be in trouble. Surveyor over under 100.5. Now that I heard that hat closet. Over under. If I'm counting the ones in storage, it's over. If we're just talking about the ones that I wear, that's in the rotation, because that's the thing, rotation. Ones that are in the rotation, it's under 100. Of all the hats that I have in my house right now, easily over 100. Easily. There are some that are retired. Some I don't wear, but they're displayed in the man cave. Those are championship or draft hats. So in my man cave, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it 5? I think it's 5 hats displayed, but they're Super Bowl 31, Super Bowl 45 hats that I don't wear anymore. I wore maybe for a couple times, but I don't wear. And then the Bucks NBA championship hat that I wore a few times, don't wear it anymore. I've got a 2015 Packers draft cap because that was the first draft I attended. And then last year's draft, I wore a couple times, but don't wear it anymore. But I was at that draft. So those hats are retired. I will never wear again. I wore them a few times each, but I have a thing. It's the same with shirts. I can't wear a shirt, a hoodie, or a hat that represents, a championship, or like I've got Final Four T-shirts from the Badgers. I can't wear them anymore. They're in the locker in the man cave. Still have them. I can't wear them. Part of it is because I don't want to wear them out. I don't want them to fade. I don't want them to lose their look. It's more of like a collection thing. I know I'm probably kind of weird on that, but I just know. Like division stuff, I used to get like division T-shirts, and I only had a couple of them. No, I can't. I could never wear them after the next year. It's just weird. But if we're counting all the hats that I have currently at the Kasper house, it's well over 100. And I want more. I need another Brewers one for this year. Okay? I need another Brewers one. I need another Bucks one. The one that I have is just, no. Honestly, I probably have, of over the 100, 50% of them are probably Packers related. But yeah, I would love to get, I need the Blue Gold baseball one too. That one looks sweet. Got to get the frozen pizza. I would love, if I had like an indisposable income, I would collect minor league baseball hats. If I could just have like a wall, if I had a huge man cave, I would have a wall dedicated to collecting minor league baseball hats. The Rough Riders, the Exploding Pandas. I mean, for crying out loud, all of the versions of the Timber Rattlers over the years, that would be my thing. Or if I could start my own hat line, or like man cave hat line That would be a dream come true too. So, all right, got off on that tangent, but man, Paul, if you could find a tombstone hat, the one hat too that I would love, I wish I still had, would be my Whittlesey Lions Little League hat back in the day. The old trucker foam front, the rope in the front, snapback in the back, the old school sports script where it said Whittlesey and then underneath Lions. Oh, if I wish I still had my old school Whittlesey Lions Little League hat. It wouldn't fit anymore, but just to have it, that'd be sweet. Funny story though, Paul. My best friend Jake does have a tombstone hat. He wears it once in a while. He wore it at the Casper Classic 2 years ago with his Barry Sanders jersey. So, same guy that has a Travis Jervey jersey. Yeah. Oh, good stuff. Surveyor, sports confession. I have a few. I played a game in college, definitely concussed and arguably played one of the best games of my life, but do not remember a single minute of it. I was only told later that every pass was spot on, and I was reading their offense perfectly to the point that they couldn't move the ball more than 5 meters. I have cheered for, puke in my mouth, a Vikings win. Ooh, but it was only for the benefit of the Packers. Okay, I still feel gross about it. And I one time snuck into Camp Randall after my buddy's wedding in Madison with 2 other buddies in the middle of summer. 2 minutes after we left, the cops came and searched the field as we watched from the bushes across the street. Now we're talking. You got to save some of these now for next week here, Surveyor. All right, a couple more mentions on the video stream. Man, I just can't do snapbacks. I used to not be able to do snapbacks. There's certain ones. So like there's certain snapbacks digital where they just don't fit right. The one I'm wearing right now is a snapback, and it's comfortable as all get up. But there are a lot of snapbacks I can't. And I have a big head physically and probably in other ways too. But there's a lot of snapbacks where it has to go in that last notch or last 2 notch, and I don't like that. It just feels weird. This one's comfortable, but I hear you. There's not a lot of snapbacks that are the greatest. Some, depending on the designs and such. But he's got 52 fitted University of Texas hats. Man. Yeah. Don't you think we should get our own hat line going? I think so. I think there's something in there. I think everybody's got a hat line these days, for crying out loud. All right, we got to take a quick break. We're running a little behind. That was a good topic. All right, we'll take that final break for the second quarter, and we'll be back in just a couple minutes. When it comes to fresh, convenient, and delicious, Hy-Vee and Eau Claire has got you covered. From fresh produce and premium meats to bakery favorites and ready-to-go meals, everything you need is under one roof. Are you planning some dinner tonight or maybe grabbing lunch on the run? Stocking up for the week? Hey, Hy-Vee makes it simple. A store that feels like your neighborhood market, just a little bit bigger. Plus, with daily and weekly deals and seasonal specials, there's always something new to discover. Hy-Vee and Eau Claire, where there is a helpful smile in every aisle. Now we're in my area of the woods, neck of the woods here, talking some hats. John says, I'm a low-profile fitted hat guy. Richie says, good to hear from you again, Richie. My small cranium has the opposite problem with snapbacks. Even fitted have been hard to find a good feel. Used to find lots, but flat bills took over, and those look and feel terrible on me. I remember being in that phase of the flat bill era. And a lot of hats now that I like are those flat bills, and I've tried to, I will for hours upon hours. There's one right now currently, actually. I've got the baseball wrapped up in it. It's on its third or fourth day, trying to get a little bend in that thing. You got to keep working at it. That's the thing. I don't like the flat bill anymore because I'm almost 40. But I do not like the bend where, and y'all know what I'm talking about, where you could maybe put one finger in between the two. It's so bent. So you guys and gals know what I'm talking about. Some people just they fold that thing so much where you can maybe fit a finger or two in between. It's like, no. You need the happy medium. A little bit of that curvature in there. And please, for the love of Mary, I'm trying to get my kid to stop doing this. No V's. All right? Don't do the V fold. All right? I get it. I'm trying to teach him. It's got to be the round. Don't squish it so it's like the V. I did it as a kid. Didn't know any better. Don't do that. Don't do that. All right? We got digital. Holy moly. Most of what you wore back in college was fitted. Yeah, I would agree with that. It's just fitted. Like, the hats are so dang expensive. Zach says, I used to buy only fitted hats. Now I catch myself only buying hats with the mesh backs unless it's a Packers hat. Yeah, the mesh or Velcro. Ooh, I can't do Velcro. I do have, this is where I need a new Bucks hat, though. One Bucks hat I had to give to Hudson. And the other one I have, and that Bucks one was not comfortable and it was fitted. So I gave it to him. The one I do have is a kind of an El Cheapo New Era, but it is Velcro. I can't do Velcro. I'm not at that age yet where I can do Velcro. I can't. I don't want to do Velcro. Don't want to do Velcro. I'll do snapback, but I can't do Velcro. Even though that might be the better one. But there's like some of those Velcros where it's just like the top of the hat's not deep enough to fit down. So I can't do Velcro yet. Nope. Can't do it. So nothing wrong with rocking that flat bill when it's got to be the right hat. I can't do the full-on flat bill. Not at my age anymore. That's a kiddo's thing. You know, I found that out too with in summer ball. My wife and some of the other wives kind of making fun of some of the dads from other teams from wearing backwards flat bill hats. So I'm like, I can't do that anymore. So I stopped doing that a long time ago too. So, all right, there we go. So 2 hours in. Let's get back to some more football talk. What was the best move so far when it's come to free agency for the Packers, for the offseason move? A lot of you going with the Rashawn Gary trade, able to get fourth-round pick. I think it was like 90-some% of you so far, if I had to gauge that, going with the Rashawn Gary one. We'll get back to that. We've got Badger Chat coming up with RJ Cardinal. We'll talk some hoops, talk some hockey with him. We are at halftime. We got some news updates, and we'll be right back after these quick words. All right, third quarter is here. Thanks for making us a part of your start on this Tuesday morning of March 10th. If you've been hanging out with us all morning long, we appreciate that, man. We appreciate that. So we're going to talk with RJ Cardinal coming up in about 15 minutes or so. We're going to talk some Badger hoops with him as we are into the Big Ten Conference Tournament. We've got some playoff hockey as well. So lots to catch up on in the Wisconsin Badger world for sure. Talk some more green and gold coming up here too. We've got Zach saying the Gary trade for sure for Goody to get a fourth rounder for him is just impressive. I thought for sure it would have been a late 6th or 7th. Digital says Gary's peaks are great, but the guy would disappear so much even with Micah taking much more of the attention off of him. I would agree with both of those takes. Dustin says it's an absolute art to a perfect curved brim. Also, snapback is where it's at. Fitted stretches out and becomes unwearable after 6 to 8 months. I would agree. The flex fit, I would agree with that. The flex one, you know, those like the ones that are like L/XL or you know what I'm talking about, S/medium. Those I would agree with, that they get stretched out. The actual fitted, like the 7 and 5/8, 7.5, they hold their form a little bit more. But those, I don't know if I'm like with the rest of you. When my hair grows, and my hair grows really quick, oh, it's so touchy. It's come and go. It's come and go. But I agree with you, Dustin, on the art of the perfect curved brim. Ben also says any man over the age of 40 that still wears a flat brim hat is easily going through a midlife crisis at this point. Yeah, I can't do flat brims anymore. I can't do it. Nope, not it. College, sure. Going down to Water Street, sure. Playing in our ball days, sure. Not anymore. I can't. Nope. So I don't. Yeah. So maybe that means I'm not in that midlife crisis. So, anyways, let's kind of recap in case you missed it. If you're just joining in and you're not even sure what's going on in the sports world and such, this morning Packers reportedly signing a corner, Benjamin St. Juste, to the corner from the Chargers last year. Packers reportedly are giving him a 2-year, $10 million deal. He was originally a third-round pick in 2021 by the Commanders. Played 4 years with the Commanders over there before signing with the Chargers last year. He was not a full-time player for the Chargers last year. He played, let's kind of look at some of the snap counts and such. So about a third of the snaps on defense. The other thing on this, too, is he was one of their top contributors on special teams. So maybe it's not a foregone conclusion that he's instantly a starter. Now, he is a boundary corner. He apparently has experience playing a little bit of the slot, but you look at the size of him, he's 6'3", okay? He's a tall corner. You wouldn't think that would be a slot corner. But we have seen over the last couple of years especially, NFL offenses evolve where they're putting bigger receivers into the slot and such. So getting a little bit of experience with that. But he is a boundary corner more so if you had to pick, you know, which area he's better at. Did have a nice year last year. I mean, Pro Football Focus graded him as the 11th best corner grade-wise. Obviously, didn't play as many snaps as some of the other corners and such out there. So that factors into the contract and such. So, but I'll be kind of curious to see the complete breakdown of this. Is it going to be one of those where they could get out of 1 year? Kind of set up that way. Just saw this too. He was credited with 0 missed tackles last season. I'm sure Packers fans love to hear that. But, you know, in his first 4 years of the league with the Commanders, he wasn't the greatest corner. 3 of the 4 years, he was charged with over a 100 quarterback rating when quarterbacks targeted him. So that's something to consider as well. But I like the move. it's a low-risk move. It's fairly cheap from what we can kind of tell so far. You're adding a little bit of depth to that cornerback room. I still think that you go into the draft with corner near the top of your list if it's not at the top. I think right now, if you are Green Bay, you probably are maybe looking at, okay, who can we bring in on the defensive line standpoint? Add a little bit more depth there. Maybe bring in some more big guys up front to help stop the run. But I would imagine that's got to be a move that I would expect Green Bay to make here in the coming days now of this offseason. Outside of Green Bay, though, what was a move that across the league yesterday that you're like, oh, man, that's a good move, or oh, man, that's a good signing by that team? Or maybe what was a move that surprised you the most? I think it's going to be weird to see Mike Evans in San Francisco. I just thought that was going to be one of those guys that may just play his whole career with Tampa Bay and such, but 49ers bringing in Mike Evans. Kenneth Walker going to the Chiefs. I was like, oh, dang. Okay. Good move. Bring in a little running attack. Rams adding another corner, too. So they obviously knew what the area they had to get better at. So they made some moves there. Yeah, I'm trying to think of some of the other. I think Tyler, the center, that massive deal to the Raiders, 3 years. Whew, it was. I can't. Are the Raiders in a position that they're going to win right away? Probably not. But how do you say no to that amount of money? How about the Panthers? Phillips, they're spending some money. Lloyd, I mean, they're adding more to that defense for Ejiro Evero to add up. So, I mean, Panthers coming off of a playoff appearance last year. Like, okay, let's do this thing. Let's add some more defensive guys to this, and they sure did. It was a nice day for the Panthers. If you were a Panthers fan, you probably like some of those moves too. So, but, yeah, I like what the Panthers did. What are some of your favorite moves? You can hit us up. Don't forget, it is also a Toyson Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday. You can text those on over, 715-830-1912, or hit us up on the video stream. It is also a Sports Confession Day. What's a sports confession you would like to make? And then I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. Hit us up for the next couple hours with those picks. Bucks are back in action tonight, taking on the Phoenix Suns. Earlier on, I asked you for your confidence scale. Try not to laugh, but I asked for your confidence scale. And if the Bucks can go on a run here and try to get into the playoffs, and I was at a 2, and there was a lot of 2s. I think the highest one I got was a 3. There's just not a lot of love right now for Milwaukee. 4 games behind the Hornets for that final playoff spot. If we kind of look at both the Hornets and the Bucks and their upcoming schedule. And that's the thing. I was like, I don't necessarily like doing that because who knows? But, yeah, I'm not even going to try to attempt that. I'm not even going to look at the Hornets schedule because that Bucks got to take care of their own flipping business. And they've got Phoenix tonight. Then they hit the road, taking on Miami Thursday, Atlanta Saturday, Pacers Sunday, and then the Cavs a week from today. So Bucks are sitting at 27-36. 27-36. 19 games left to go in this thing. How many wins? Dare I say like 14, 15 wins they need to somehow find in this thing, and that's not going to happen. I'm trying to find a little positivity in this thing. I'm trying to say, well, they can maybe pull off a bunch in a row, or they can maybe go. I mean, maybe we need a little G-man optimism with this thing when it comes to when it comes to the Bucks, but I don't see it. I can't see it. No. Looking at it, they got Cleveland, they got Atlanta, Miami's a playoff team. San Antonio's still on the schedule, Houston's on the schedule, Boston's on the schedule, Detroit's on the schedule. I don't see a lot of wins on this thing here for Milwaukee. It's just not happening. Not happening. But yeah, a lot of you saying 2s, 1s, 3s. Oof. Yeah. I'm there with you. I don't have a lot of optimism here. So maybe we just got to look at these last 19 games for this Bucks season and say, hey, these might be the last games of Giannis in a Bucks jersey. Has that crossed anybody's mind at this point? Maybe that's why maybe that's the motivating thing to pay attention to these Bucks games and watch these games or listen to these games is we might only have 19-ish games left with Giannis in a Bucks uniform. Because that's going to happen. When we get to, let's say, the final Bucks home game, which is April 10th. You know what the narrative is going to be? Is that the final home game for Giannis? Final game of the season is April 12th at Philly. Is that going to be the final game of Giannis in a Bucks jersey, assuming he plays in those two games? We don't know what could happen leading up to it. So, all right, let's take a quick break. We're going to switch gears, and we're going to talk with RJ Cardinal. We'll talk some Badgers with him coming up after these quick words. Accidents happen, and getting back on the road shouldn't be stressful, though. At Superior Auto Body in Eau Claire, you will find experienced technicians, quality craftsmanship, and service that you can trust. From collision repair and dent removal to full paint work and insurance coordination, they handle the details so you do not have to. They'll restore your vehicle the right way, safely, professionally, and with attention to every detail. When your vehicle needs expert care, choose a team that puts quality first. That's Superior Auto Body in Eau Claire, our partners for Backyard Dreams. And we got just a day left. If you want to go to our website and nominate a child to go to a Brewers versus Dodgers game. So nominations are up right now. Or to nominate a child, you just go to our website, click on the Fan Cave tab, and scroll all the way down to the bottom, and you'll be able to nominate that child. It could be maybe somebody that's never been to a Brewers game, it's always wanted to, or maybe just a kiddo maybe needs a little bit of a pick-me-up or something like that. Go make your nominations right now. Got a day left for that nomination process. Switching gears here a little bit, we're going to talk some Badgers with our guy, Mr. R.J. Cardinal, as we are Big Ten Conference Tournament week here for hoops. But first things first, R.J., how impressive was that win? How big was that win for the Badgers on Saturday, taking down Purdue, even without Nolan Winter in that lineup?
Yeah, I mean, another ranked team on the road, another good resume builder, another quad one win for Wisconsin, and puts them up into the top 25. Technically, I mean, if you go by that, you're a 6th seed. So hopefully they played themselves into another higher seed. But it's something that I think as we've seen things progress. I mean, I'm pretty sure every statistical category except the final score was led by Purdue. And I was listening and talking to Zach Heilprin here, our sports director at WOZN, and I think the last time that happened for Purdue, scoring in the 90s, leading almost every statistical category, and still losing at home was in the 80s. So, it's been a while for Purdue to lose a game like that. But awesome to see for the Badgers as they're heading into the postseason now. And hopefully that can just help them catapult into what we hope is at least one win on Thursday, heading into play Illinois on Friday. Awesome to see as a good resume builder for Wisconsin. It's not. I think you took yourself off of an 8-9 level of a seed now and put yourself into, hopefully, depending on how you do this weekend, a 5, 6, or 7.
So, yeah, I was looking at a lot of the bracketology, Lenardi and such. It seems like the majority, if not all, have them as a 6 seed. Now, do you think that's the floor, regardless of what happens? If they lose the first game in their conference tournament, they're still at worst are going to be a 6 seed. And do you think potentially the ceiling? I mean, if they win this thing, they'd have to go through Illinois, Michigan, and either Michigan State or Nebraska. If somehow they win this thing, could you see them maybe jumping as high as potentially a 4 seed in this tournament?
Like we've talked about before and in years past, for the most part, by the time you hit the weekend for the Big Ten tournament, and since it's the last game played leading into Selection Sunday, I think seeds are pretty much set. I don't know if they can get up to a 4 seed. I think there's too many people haven't been paying attention. You can just look at the disrespect Nick Boyd's getting in terms of not being mentioned as one of the top guards in the nation right now. But I think people will point to your loss to Oregon, your loss to USC, and really, even though it was a quad one loss, Indiana and Ohio State in there as well. So you have 4 losses that, people are going to point at and be like, see, they don't deserve to be any higher than we're actually putting them. So I'd like to say maybe a 4 seed, but I think the ceiling right now, if you make a little bit of a run, maybe even make Saturday, you're looking at a 5 seed. Maybe if you make that championship game, I think that could flip things. I mean, that means you beat Illinois, you beat Michigan if you make it. So like 2 wins against one of the top teams in the nation. Yeah, sure, maybe that'll take care of it. But I think with 1 win, you're going to stay where you are. Another win over Illinois, I think, puts you up to a 5. And I guess maybe an outside shot, but I think 5 is the ceiling here.
So this might be kind of a weird question, RJ, but I mean, we've seen this Badger basketball team now. I mean, as you mentioned, they've beaten Michigan, they've beaten Michigan State, they've beaten Illinois, they've beaten Purdue. I mean, these are some of the better teams in the country when it comes to tournament time. Then, even though if they are a 6 seed, is Wisconsin a team that, you know what, they've proven they can beat the best of the best. So if they lose a game earlier on or such, I mean, is the only way to beat the Badgers essentially is if they beat themselves and that 3-point shot that we have talked about so many times, if that thing's not falling. I mean, I know they're not going to shoot 50% from 3 like they did against Purdue. But I mean, is this a team that they can go as far as they want as long as they're playing at the level that we have seen them capable of this year?
Absolutely. And like a lot of people are pointing out now, you can say that about any team in the country. If they're missing shots, they're not going to go. They're not going to like move ahead, you know. But I think we've seen it with Wisconsin. Like if that 3-point isn't dropping even to like near 30%, it's not going to do anything for the Badgers. Like that inside game, even though against Purdue, they started pounding a little more inside, which was good to see. But overall, that's not a game plan. And it was a little odd to see them go to that from time to time, like you said, without Winter there. So good to see that. But if this team is just not making the 3 to the extent of 30 some odd percent, it's really just going to be a short postseason for the Badgers. And there's other teams who also kind of rely on the 3, but the Badgers rank 5th, I think, in 3-point attempts this year in the NCAA. So it tells you where that goes. But still, pretty darn good season. They were a Maryland upset away from being the 4 seed. And having a triple bye and still have the probably opportunity to play Illinois one way or another. But now they just have to play an extra game because of it. But and we've been saying it like all year too with that. I mean, they can go out and flash all the fancy toys at us and make it look amazing, and still end up not ranked until, twice in the season, and immediately bow out after a loss. So it's absolutely volatile offense and really lacking defense that the Badgers don't really it's not really conducive to a lot of winning when they're missing shots. I mean, thank God Maryland couldn't make anything last Wednesday and only scored 45 points, because that first half Wisconsin couldn't make a darn bucket, and if Maryland had, they'd be clawing their way back from a deficit rather than still having the lead at halftime and then just pulling it away. I think we're more hyper focused on it, but it does seem a lot of people could have that issue as well moving forward. I think we just see Wisconsin day in, day out and think we're special.
Yeah.
But I do believe we can watch another quick exit if shots don't fall.
That's the thing I think is, like, when we get to Selection Sunday, man, and we're filling out our brackets afterwards, like I'm looking at Lenardi's bracketology here as a reference, and I'm like, man, okay, so they would play the winner, according to him, between Santa Clara and SMU. Let's assume Wisconsin would win. I know it might be a big assumption, but then they would probably face Iowa State in the second round. And then if they were to win that, potentially if it goes chalk, they would play Michigan State, who they've already beaten. It's like this is a team I could see making an early exit, but I mean, not that far out from possibly an Elite Eight run either.
Yeah, and like you said, looking at those projected brackets, you're looking at it, you're like, that doesn't seem so tough.
Yeah.
So, but it's like, ooh, can we make the 3 that day? So, it's really one of those up until the game starts, and heck, even the Maryland game. When I was watching that, I was like, oh, great, we're going to lose on senior night at home because we can't make a 3. And then I remembered Maryland's Maryland. So, it's really a frustrating in-game watch, not just the entire season outlook.
Right. Hey, let's switch gears a little bit to hockey. I want to start off with the with women's hockey because we got the brackets out, and I know Badgers fell to Ohio State, which means Ohio State got the top seed. Wisconsin is the 2 seed. We don't know who they play yet. They'll play the winner between Quinnipiac and Franklin Pierce. But, heck, I mean, you want to talk about, look at the top 4 seeds in this thing. Ohio State, Wisconsin, Penn State, Minnesota. Not bad representation, man, with those 4 teams in the top 4 spots.
Yeah, not at all. And, I mean, really, as I'm looking at the bracket, Wisconsin may be the 2 seed, but it seems like they got the number 1 seed side of things. It just kind of looks like an easier path than Ohio State got there for to end up in the Frozen Four and the championship game. So I'm expecting them to end up either playing Ohio State or Minnesota in the NCAA championship game. Looking at this bracket, it kind of, I guess it'll just depend on what kind of play they have as they get there. So just everything's going as normal for the women's hockey team right now.
Right. They're kind of like the San Antonio Spurs of like the Tim Duncan and Ginobili and Greg Popovich era. I feel like it's kind of like a 2 seed, but they're still going to win. Yeah, they're just
right. Yeah, they're just there.
Right, exactly.
They exist to try to be champions.
Right. Yeah, definitely. And then, tomorrow on the men's side at the Kohl Center. For the Big Ten tournament, it's going to be the men's team taking on Ohio State. RJ, how do you see that matchup, or how do you like that matchup for Wisconsin?
I do like it. During the little slide Wisconsin had, they ended up splitting with Ohio State in Columbus. But still, I'm liking the matchup. I think at home with this team fully healthy. I mean, they went into Penn State and swept them. And we were talking about how fighting for a sweep or a split would be pretty hard. But Wisconsin went out there and won 7-2 and 5-2. I think Montgomery got hit with 2 10-minute majors in game misconduct. So he's actually going to be sitting out for the Ohio State game. I think I read that correctly. So they'll be down a man, but this team fully healthy right now. And, he got some production out of Montgomery, but he got his first goal in a month in the Friday night game against Penn State. I mean, 7-2 and 5-2, you don't come by that by fluke, especially against a team like Penn State that has the projected number 1 overall pick for the NHL coming up here, and is a team that is just a high percentage shooting team that just peppers the net. Holding them to 4 goals in a series is pretty good. So Wisconsin's got to be feeling pretty good as they go on here. Technically right now they don't know who they'll face if they win tomorrow night's game. The Big Ten changed to single elimination tournament at the home sites right now. So it's just a 1 game. Tickets are on sale, so if you have time on a Wednesday night to go watch Big Ten playoff hockey for the first time at the Kohl Center, I'm pretty sure because the last time it happened was 2020, so nobody was there to see them. But the highest seed left will end up facing Michigan State. So if the Badgers win and there's either an upset by Minnesota or Notre Dame, Minnesota plays Penn State, Notre Dame plays Michigan. I'm not expecting anything out of Notre Dame. So if somehow Minnesota gets on something here and upsets Penn State, Wisconsin would play Michigan rather than Michigan State. But I mean, there's another one. Much like the basketball team has beaten some of the top teams in the country, so has Wisconsin. They've won 3 of 4 over Michigan State. Are they 3 of 4? No, 3 of 4 over Michigan, and they split the season series with Michigan State. So you've got 2 of the top 3 teams in the nation there that are ahead of you, but you've beaten them. Penn State is still ahead of you in the rankings. You've beaten them, and yeah, this is a team that can absolutely go on a tear now that they're fully healthy again in the postseason. So hopefully goal droughts don't happen. You're getting amazing play from your goaltending. The defense is playing pretty darn good. So this team has a lot going for it as they move forward. You definitely win against Ohio State tomorrow night will put them in as a lock for the NCAA tournament, I think. There's a lot of people still calling them a bubble team, but they're ranked 13th in the whatever rankings they're using now. They don't really use the pairwise anymore. But so a win, I think, moves you up in there as you head into the following week. And, so men's hockey looking like they're getting ready for a postseason run as well.
Awesome. So, hey, I wanna chat a little football here too, because was it last week the team announced a couple of staff additions. So, sounds like Badger football has a new wide receivers coach and a special teams coordinator. I know, it's probably some people are like, dude, it's March and they're adding those guys. But what can you tell us a little bit about the new wide receivers coach and special teams coordinator?
Yeah, old wide receiver coach left for the Falcons to be a part of that new staff, so that's why that was a little late. And the new guy sounds like he's had a lot of work in the NFL and collegiate levels, so has a lot to bring in that sense. And so far, seems like the players like him. And then special teams coordinator, I guess I didn't know the old one left. So that one I was reading it. I'm like, oh well, hey, there you go. You got a pretty darn good punter in Sean West. Your kickers situation. Hopefully it's an open competition, because right now Nathaniel Vakos is a guy who needs to be pushed. From a freshman All-American to a guy who misses field goals is something. But we'll see what it's really one of those. It's hard to tell with special teams coordinators. The only thing you see different from time to time is their punt formation, whether it's collegiate style where they spread you all out, and that's usually for rugby kickers, or if it's the NFL style where they create that U shape and have some gunners and whatnot. So it's that, or they have, like, for extra points, they do the swinging gate where they line up all over the field and then come in for whatever reason that people like doing. So yeah, not too sure about that right now, but that'll be something in spring ball where we'll see right away what kind of stuff they're running, or if it's just going to be, hey, this guy's style matches what we already do, and we're bringing him in because he's good at what he does. So, yeah.
No, go ahead. Didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, yeah. No, I was just going to say, So yeah, that's the extent I know.
No, I was just kind of reading a little bit. I mean, the new special teams coordinator, Bob, 40 years, and was the former Minnesota special teams coordinator the last couple of years here too. So, I mean, dude has definitely gotten a ton of experience. I also saw, they gave Tuff Borland the inside linebackers coaching title because that was Tressel along with defensive coordinator. They have an assistant head coach and an associate head coach. So, they're just feels like if you want a title, RJ, you might be able to get a title right now with the Badger football team.
Well, I think it's kind of like the NFL does, where you can, and it's not essentially like those NFL rules because you can't, there's like rules of coaches based on titles can't make lateral moves of some, whatever it is. I know Bill Michaels talks about it all the time on when guys make moves and things like that. I don't know the intricacies of how coaches move around in the NFL, but some of it's incentive to keep a guy there, give him a little pay raise as you add assistant to the head coach or whatever, and rather than maybe incentives in terms of get a X-ranked defense, get a X-ranked offense, whatever those end up being as well, but a little bit of a pay raise with a title change. Moving from an analyst to a position coach is always awesome. Tuff Borland, who did play at Ohio State under Tressel, I think. So, he's hanging, I shouldn't say hanging on. He's staying on with the coach he played for. Should have. So a new running backs coach too. That happened a while ago, though. Also got that guy from the Gophers who, they've had a pretty darn good run game the last few seasons. They've to go along with a good O-line. So, if Wisconsin wants to get back to the way Wisconsin is, they hired a new O-line coach that's going to be kind of tough as nails guys. And it sounds like same with the running backs coach who says, these guys will probably hate me before they love me. But, we're not going to have a set rotation. It's going to be week to week based on how guys are handling the ball. You haven't earned the right to do anything yet. You have to earn the right to do it. So, he's not basing anything off of what people did last season. You got to get right with him. So, yeah, it's a new season, not just in terms of players brought in, but kind of a new coaching staff. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, no doubt. He's RJ Cardinal, Badger analyst from Zone in Madison. Hey, appreciate the time as always every Tuesday morning, RJ. Enjoy the conference tournament, and we'll talk seeding and brackets with you next week, bud.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, and for wrestling, they did get 7 guys through. So, I wasn't too far off in terms of the expectations there. You just had 3 guys who didn't place, but they were at some difficult weight classes in the Big Tens. So if you don't make a podium at the Big Tens, really there isn't a shot for you to make the NCAAs. But 7's a lot better than 3 or 2 that they had the past couple of seasons. So good to see there. And I think based on some of the weight classes in the Big Tens, you'll definitely have some guys make some noise. Probably look for Zane Vugat at 133, Joseph Zargo 149. I like Braxton Amos at 285. Took 6th place in the Big Ten, but that could lead to 6th place in the nation too. So definitely have some guys who can push for All-American status, which all you got to do is make a podium. Which that sounds bad to say. All you got to do is that, but if you're on the podium at the end of the NCAAs, you're an All-American. So yeah, a few guys. I think you have a shot at making a podium. Otherwise, getting 7 guys to the NCAAs isn't always the easiest thing to do. So it's good to see Wisconsin get back there. Still took 9th at the Big Ten tournament, and you get 7 guys through. So good to see, and hopefully they get some good news in the NCAAs as they go into that.
Yeah, definitely. Good stuff, RJ. We appreciate it, man, and we'll catch up with you again next week. Okay, bud?
Sounds good. We will talk to you then.
You got it. There you go. There's RJ Cardinal joining us here this morning, talking all things Badgers. Hey, we got to take a quick break, play a little catch up, but I'm going to get to my confession. I've got a sports confession. It's controversial, but I got to confess it. Send yours on over too. But all right, really quick break, and we'll be right back in just a couple minutes. Playing a little catch up. So you know what? I'm going to save my sports confession because we got to take another break, and we only got like 10 minutes to the top. So we got to take another quick break here. I'll do it right before 9 o'clock so that I can give you guys a little bit of time to yell at me for my sports confession. I love what's going on right now on the YouTube chat between Zach, Digital, and Paul over there. Trying to go through all of this, but apparently you guys agree about the flat bills. Was it, as a 45-year-old dude, I agree, says Paul. If you're over 30, you shouldn't be wearing a flat bill. Digital says flat bill, flat bill never. He also says, I'm going to guess Dan O's sports confession is Bryce Pop being his favorite Packer linebacker of all time. Good poll, but no, it is not. Good name drop, but it is not. So, hey, rest of you, go join in on the video stream on Man Cave TV really quick. And of course, it's John. It's always Tuesdays are always grind my gears. Always grind my gears. Brought to you by Toyson Ford. He says what grinds my gears are the people that complained about the Packers getting a fourth-round pick for Rashawn Gary and expected a first-round pick only because Gary was a first-round pick. I think those same people tend to forget that Gary's production dropped off significantly, and I think the Packers were lucky to get a fourth-round pick. Go, Pack, go, and the Bears still stink. I don't know who or where people are complaining about that, John, but they are nuts. You should be ecstatic. People should be ecstatic that Green Bay was able to get a fourth-round pick for Rashawn Gary. And to say, well, because so it's like I always use the kind of a little bit of not everybody's like this, Micah Parsons, those type of players. But more times than not, it's like a used car. Or it's like when you buy the car off the lot, as soon as you leave that lot, it diminishes in value. It's like that for a lot of players. As soon as you draft them, get a few years, it diminishes in value. Unless you got the classic, the collectible, like a Micah or a Max Crosby. Something like that. Otherwise, it just depreciates in value. So, continue to send me what's grinding your gears. Also, I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. And your sports confessions. Mine's a little bit of a, not so much of a hot take-ish. I don't know why, but it was crossing my mind last night. I'm like, you know what? This might be my debut for little sports confession. So with that, we'll take our final break for this hour. I'll tell it. Then everybody's going to yell at me. But I got to get off my chest. Maybe if I confess it, I'll actually be saved from it. Or maybe some people will agree with it. I don't know. But all right. Final break for this hour. We'll be back to wrap up the third quarter coming up in just a couple minutes. Well, we might have a little more Packers breaking news as we're just coming back. Waiting for more confirmation on this, but Ryan Wood just a couple minutes ago, Nate Hobbs going to be released. Ryan Wood tweeted out, Packers are not paying Nate Hobbs a $6.25 million roster bonus, facilitating his release per source. Benjamin St-Juste in, Nate Hobbs out. So, now Tom Pelissero is tweeting that the Packers are releasing Nate Hobbs. Reaction, Packers fans. More Packers talk coming up in the next hour. So, your thoughts, your feelings, hit me up. Okay, so really quick, my sports confession, because I'll give you a little bit of time. I happened to read, this popped up last night, an old piece by Charles Barkley where he talked about the best players of all time, Jordan, LeBron, and Kobe. And I got to confess, I've always said that Jordan and LeBron were 1 and 2 for the GOATs. And I think I'm going to change it. After, I don't know why, but the more I was thinking about it, I think I'm going to change it. Longest time was Jordan and LeBron. But I'm teetering towards 1 Jordan, 2 Kobe. I don't know why. I kind of appreciate what Barkley said. The difference between Michael and Kobe, man, they are dangerous. I mean, they really wanted to kill you, humiliate you. I think Tom Brady is like that. I think Michael and Kobe, Tom Brady, they're going to do whatever it takes to win. They ain't worried about who likes them, and they ain't worried about your feelings. And kind of said that LeBron's the nice guy mentality. The difference in the 3, Michael and Kobe are dangerous. They will kill your butt. LeBron's a nice guy, and that's not a knock. He's still a great, great, great player, but he's a nice guy. I kind of like that. Dare I say my new order is Jordan and Kobe. Oof. Hey, let's talk some more Packers. Nate Hobbs, gone. We'll hit that up. Coming up after the news update. All right, final quarter on this crazy Tuesday coming your way, and it's been a lot of fun. Let's keep the energy. Let's keep the vibe going into the final quarter, all right? All gas, no break, right, LaFleur? Well, let's keep it going. Appreciate you tuning in wherever you're tuning in, however you're tuning in from, if it's on the radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM, or maybe on the video stream where we got a group of gents that are having some fun over there. Join in on the video stream. I'm just having fun reading all the comments from everybody over there. So keep that vibe flowing. So if you're just joining in right now, before we went to break at the top of the hour, Nate Hobbs gone. Packers releasing him, according to our friend Rob Demovsky. It will be a post-June 1st designation, meaning the Packers will get back $8.38 million in salary cap space. A regular release would have only net them $838,000. So Packers, even with the available cap space that they have, opting to do the post-June 1st designation and opening up nearly $9 million. Now, I'm sure a lot of people are going to wonder, could that mean that they're doing something else? Are they going to, go after some other people and such? But we shall see. Good on Goody and the front office, mostly Goody because he's the GM, but good on Goody to acknowledge, okay, mistake. This was a mistake. The move didn't work. Instead of trying to run it back, and again, this was something that let's talk a little bit about earlier because I still think there's quite a few Packers fans that have this mindset of that Goody is a reincarnation of Ted Thompson. No. Is there elements? Of course. The guy worked under him for how many years? There's going to be elements of it. But Goody's his own man. He's been his own GM, and he's done a lot of things that are completely different. And it just good on them for recognizing, you know what, this isn't a fit. It didn't work that great. Even though with a new defensive coordinator coming in, I'm sure there was maybe some thought to like, okay, with Jonathan Gannon coming in, do we try it with this? No, it wasn't a fit. So, all right, now that you add this into the equation. Okay, we were talking about Benjamin earlier on, the Packers signing, the corner earlier on this morning that we were chatting a little bit about. You're looking at Benjamin St. Juste. I don't know why I just blanked on his name, but okay, add him. You got Carrington, you got Keyshawn, you got Nate Hobbs, you got Javon Bullard, you got a little. Now you move on from Nate Hobbs. I think you still need to address corner. Maybe it comes in the draft with a day 2 pick, a round 2, round 3. I think that's where you really have to. You got to find a long-term solution at corner, and that's probably going to come in the draft. At this point, it's not going to be Greg Newsome. He has signed with the Giants, so it's not that. So I think right now that corner is probably going to come from the draft. Early day 2, second rounder, third rounder. So if you are into the habit of looking at mock drafts right now, kind of maybe look around that second round and see where maybe there's an available corner that could be available at that time. Still early. I mean, we're a month and a half away, a little over a month and some change away from that. So a lot could change in that, but yeah. But I tip my cap to Goody for this, acknowledging that didn't work. It didn't work. Let's move on. It's not a fit. We can criticize, and I've criticized. We've questioned the signing. Afterwards, hindsight's always 20/20, right? When it was signed last year, felt like, okay, a lot of Raiders people liked him. The only problem was he couldn't stay healthy. Well, that proved to be true this past year. And we questioned it. Wasn't a great offseason last year for Green Bay with outside of the Micah Parsons one, the Aaron Banks one, the Nate Hobbs one. Wasn't great. But instead of trying to double down on it and maybe save a little extra, not try to have extra dead cap money or anything like that. Like, no, we're going to move on. So, tip of the cap. Makes this offseason just even a little bit more intriguing, though, too. And honestly, it kind of does. So it's still definitely, I think, a position of need, a position that they have to address, that they have to get better at, that they have to have better depth at. I mean, past this year, Carrington's in his final year as a rookie deal. Keyshawn, I believe, is in his final year. We know Benjamin's just a 2-year deal. They've got to have a long-term solution at corner, and that's where I think you're going to see it come from the draft. Now, do they maybe get another corner? Do they get another corner like day 3 and such for depth? Yeah, probably, possibly. So there you have it. I still like the moves that Goody is making so far that the Packers are doing in the early goings of front office. But Zach's got a good sports confession, my sports confession, and I may take some heat for this one. I may or may not have worn a Vikings Brett Favre jersey for a hot minute. Oh, no, Zach. Oh, no. Oh, no. I did have a Favre Jets jersey. My senior year in college, I dressed up as Favre as a Jet. I did the temporary hairspray, so it was gray. Had the pads on, knee pads too. Couldn't do the Vikings one. I was at Favre's final return to Lambeau when the Packers won that game, and that still was an environment that I don't think I've ever experienced the amount of animosity and the tense. To quote Escanaba in the Moonlight, that game was as tense as a moose's butt during fly season. It was bad. So, but yeah, I had a Favre Jets one. I did not have a Favre Vikings one. That one I can't do. Can't do it. Jets I didn't mind. I didn't mind the Jets thing. Just like I didn't mind Rodgers Jets. Don't mind Rodgers Steelers. Division, no. Then that's where I draw the line. But Jets, yeah, I didn't have a problem with it. Because that time, too, I wanted Favre back. I didn't know what we had for Rodgers that year. We were coming off an NFC Championship game, for crying out loud. I wanted to run it back and see if we can get back there. But, no, I was at the that one. And I'm not a booer. I don't boo. It feels weird to me. And I'm not criticizing anybody who does boo. I don't care. I don't have a problem. I don't know. I feel weird booing. Maybe it's because I hate the sound of my own voice or something. I don't know. But I remember at the end of that game, because he was at the other end and he had got hurt and he was limping the length of Lambeau Field to a shower of boos. And I'll never forget that moment because I just stood there and watched it. So it was, yeah. Crazy. We've got Zach says, I saw him when I was really little at Lambeau, but I really wish I would have seen him again before he left. I did see him in Minnesota. My aunt and uncle are big Minnesota fans. What did I say, Paul? Dan, say it ain't so. The Jets jersey thing? I don't think it was that bad. Better than a Vikings one. I think everybody. I remember Shields was just flying through them at that time, trying to keep them in stock. Hey, I was pretty popular on Water Street that Halloween dressed as Favre. I will say that. I was pretty popular. Not to toot the own horn. So, all right, that's good. I like that. See, this is the goal of this whole thing for this show. I like the positive vibes. Sports is supposed to be fun. Having sports conversations is supposed to be fun. The negativity, keep it out. No. The negativity of everything. I want to keep sports fun. I want to keep the conversation fun. So I appreciate the three gents right now in the video chat having some fun with this. So keep that positive vibe going. I like that. That's what sports is all about. So, all right, let's take a quick break. More coming up here, though. We'll talk some more football and such as free agency continues to roll right along here. We'll be right back after these few words. Really good point by Tom Silverstein, quick, talking about the post June 1st designation. Kind of always forget about this part, but just a reminder here too. With a post June 1st designation, that cap space, so Green Bay is going to have about $8.8 million, nearly $9 million available in cap space. But since it's a June 1st post designation, they won't get that cap space until, well, June 1st, past June 1st. So it doesn't help them in the immediate, doesn't help them right now. But it's also kind of something to keep in mind maybe for an extension, like for a Tucker Kraft or a Christian Watson or a Devontae Wyatt or one of those guys. So, if they were to work on an extension in the summer, they would have about $9 million available where they could do that extension and take a lot on. And this is something that Green Bay has done many times before and typically it does. Get an extension done early on, put some of that cap hit on their current salary cap. So that could be something in play here to kind of keep forward. So while it won't help the team out right now and this free agency period, March 10th to all the way to May 31st or whatever, but it could help them open up some space if they wanted to get that extension done for, again, like a Tucker Kraft or a Jaden Reed or, again, like a Christian Watson, Devontae Wyatt, and such. So still, I think, fairly significant that Green Bay going to be doing that post-June 1st one to create that cap space for this summer. So, but, man, just continuing to make some moves all across the board here. I don't want to ask yet because we're still in the infancy. We're still in the early stages of this thing. But I know some people have reached out and gave like A's and B pluses for Goody for the offseason and such. I don't think I'm ready to do that yet. So, yeah, no, guys. All good stuff on the video stream. All good stuff there. So we got to get more peeps. Paul, you got to be a regular on there. Zach, you got to be a regular on there. Digital, you got to be a regular on there. Let's get that thing rocking and rolling over there. So that you guys are kind of some of my comedic relief going on right now over there. So back to some college hoops here really quick because we've got conference tournaments going on. So just kind of a quick reminder here of how this is all kind of set up. So the Big Ten Conference, if we look at the Big Ten Conference tournament right now, all right, because we don't know who Wisconsin's play. We got games that start off today, though. So we got Maryland versus Oregon. Then we got Penn State versus Northwestern. The winner of Maryland versus Oregon is going to take on Iowa. The winner of Penn State versus Northwestern will take on Washington. Tomorrow, strike that. The winner between Maryland versus Oregon will take on Iowa. Then it's USC versus Washington. And then the winner between Penn State versus Northwestern will take on Indiana. And then Rutgers versus Minnesota. So, and then Wisconsin will play the winner between USC versus Washington. So they already got I guess you could call it maybe a little bit of an advantage. They know it's going to be one of those two teams and not one of like 4 teams or whatever. So, they're already kind of preparing and such and getting set. So, and then kind of look at, coming on Thursday, Ohio State, Wisconsin, Purdue, UCLA will all play their first games. And then Michigan, Illinois, Nebraska, Michigan State will play their first games on Friday. So if Wisconsin were to win in their game between either USC or Washington, they would advance to play Illinois, a team that they have already beaten this season. If they can get through that game, and let's say it goes chalk, they then would face Michigan, a team that they have already beaten this year, although Michigan, one of the best teams in the entire land, the country. Let's say Wisconsin wins that one and everything else goes chalk-ish. Because if let's say Wisconsin advances to the Big Ten title game, that would be played on Sunday. It very well could be a Purdue team that they just beat. It could be a UCLA team that they beat. It could be Michigan State that they beat. The one team that they didn't beat would be Nebraska. So that's the thing here, too. And like RJ said a little bit earlier, and I think even our guy Brandon has talked about this, when you get to Sunday, it sure seems like the committee may downplay it and may not agree with that sentiment that the seeds are already in place because they always get asked right after Selection Sunday, you know, the board or the main person does the interview with CBS, and they always get asked about a certain game. Well, if this result had changed or if this result was different, would you have done this? And it always kind of seems like, no, not the case. And we can see certain examples of that. But if Wisconsin, let's say Wisconsin advances to the title game on Sunday, okay, with wins against Illinois and Michigan, how do you, one, not move up a spot? But let's say they beat Nebraska in that one. How would they not move up even just a little bit more? How do you – that to me would be mind-boggling. You'd have to – I mean, that's another – how do you not move up by going through a gauntlet just like that? It would be, I don't know, insane? So, but I don't know, just me. And I'm a little bit of a homer. I get it. Totally understand it. But it's just if a team like Wisconsin wins the Big Ten Conference tournament this week, and let's say they're slotted into a 6 spot, how do you not move up to a 4? How do you not move up to a 4 if it's wins against Illinois, Michigan, and either Michigan State or Nebraska? That to me has got to be worth rising up 2 spots. The latest rankings coming out, not that it probably matters too much right now at this point, but Duke, the number 1 team in the country, Arizona coming in at number 2, Michigan coming in at number 3, Florida rounding out the top 4. So you would think, based off those rankings, as of right now, if the brackets came out, they would be your top, your 4-1 seeds. The next group, you've got Houston, UConn falling 2 spots after their loss to Marquette. Iowa State's coming in at number 7, a team that a lot of the bracketology out there right now has Wisconsin potentially facing in the round of 32. And then Michigan State coming in at number 8. Then it's Illinois, Virginia, Nebraska, Gonzaga, St. John's, Kansas, Alabama coming in at 15. Texas Tech, Arkansas, Purdue, North Carolina, Miami of Ohio, moving down a spot even though they haven't lost a game yet all season long. They're at 20. Then it's St. Mary's, Vandy, Wisconsin jumps back into it. They're at 23. Louisville, and Tennessee. So 6 seed kind of makes sense right now if you're wondering, 6 seed, what? Okay, well, you look at a lot of that stuff. It's kind of right around there with where their ranking's at, right? 6 times 4 is 24 if you want to do it basic math that way sort of thing. And I know it doesn't necessarily work that way because Miami of Ohio's bracketology, even though they're ranked higher than Wisconsin, they're probably going to have a lower seed than Wisconsin because of competition, quad wins, and all that sort of stuff. But it kind of fits where that's at right now. But again, this is all just bracketology. Committee might be something completely different. They may view Wisconsin a little bit higher. They may view them a little bit different. We'll see. We'll see. All right. Tell you what, let's take a quick break. Plenty more to get to, though. Send me your thoughts on what you think. How Goody doing a good job so far? Kind of remaking a little bit of this this Packers squad, moving on from maybe perceived mistakes from last year. What do you think? Hit me up with your analysis, okay? We'll take a quick break. Back with plenty more as we are at the halfway mark of the final quarter. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Looking for a reliable auto service right here in the Chippewa Valley? Hey, you've got a couple options here in Eau Claire, and they are both AJM Automotive. AJM Automotive makes it simple and easy to get the care that your vehicle deserves, whether it's routine maintenance, some brake work, engine repairs, maybe a new set of tires, especially when we get to spring, summer, got some road trips, ball tournaments if you're a parent and such. Hey, they've got friendly experts. They give you honest advice, quality service that gets you back on the road safely. If you want some details on services, hours, specials, and more, just check out AJM Automotive's Facebook page and their website, ajmautomotiveservices.com. AJM Automotive, dependable service, done right here in Eau Claire. Man, this has been kind of a fun week after, I'll just say from a personal standpoint, last week at the back end was a little rough, but I appreciate a lot of the positivity coming from our video stream, comments, and such. So, Paul says, what is your favorite segment? Is that for me or for everybody else? I won't answer that because I'll say it's like I only have one kid, so I could say my favorite kid is my kid, but I would imagine it's probably like parents that have multiple kids. What's your favorite kid? Can't pick one, so I'll let Paul and everybody else answer that one on YouTube. So appreciate those guys over there right now. So a lot of you chiming in though and saying giving some props to Goody for the job that he is doing right now in the early goings of this offseason, for this Packers offseason. I'm right there with you. I'm not just trying to be positive, but I feel like he's doing the things that I think a lot of fans wanted this team to do. They wanted a lot of but not everybody, but a majority of the fans wanted Rashawn Gary to be released. What did Goody do? He got you a 4th-round pick. A majority of the fans wanted Nate Hobbs to be released, but probably thought it wasn't going to happen because it was just after 1 year and cap hit. He released him. He went and signed a different corner. Quay Walker signed a nice deal with the Raiders. Goody goes and trades for a veteran linebacker. And the Sean Ryan signing, I mean, I would throw this to anybody who's, and I'll admit, I'll raise my hand. I'm raising my hand right now. Initially, when that Sean Ryan contract came out, I was like, ooh, okay. That looked like a lot of money. I mean, 3 years, $33 million, up to a $39 in total value. But that's why we always say, just let's wait for the details. Let's wait for the guarantee. Let's see the breakdown of everything. And we kind of got that yesterday afternoon. It kind of broke down a little bit. And I think when you see it and you kind of see the other centers out there making some straight cash, homie, it's like, okay, maybe a better deal here. So in year one, the cap hits, salary cap charge for Sean Ryan is 6.666666. So let's just say 6.7. Okay. It does jump up in 2027 to a cap hit of $12.7 million. However, if Green Bay, after 1 year, looks at Sean Ryan and says, you know what? It ain't working. Maybe they pull a Nate Hobbs. Like 1 year, it ain't working. They could move on from Sean Ryan after 1 year and save about $5 million, give or take. So while his cap hit in year two of his contract is about 12.7, if they decided after 1 year to move on, they would be taking on a $7 million dead cap hit, but they would relieve themselves of about $5 million. I honestly feel like it's a 1 year contract, and then we'll see, but more than likely a 2 year contract at max. Because unless he's playing lights out, I should always put that as the caveat, unless he's playing lights out. Because in 2028, he'll still only be 28 years old. 2028, he'll have a cap hit of about $13.7 million. But if they wanted to move on from him after 2 years, they'd be saving $10 million in cap space. So I think the best way to maybe sum up Sean Ryan's contract, in my opinion, is it's a 1 year and we'll see a max of a 2-year deal. And I guess I should put the caveat on there that unless he really balls out. And I hope he really balls out. That's the thing, like with these coaches, there's so many negative people that fans that always look at it from a glass half empty approach, calling everything bad and don't like this, don't like that. They made a mistake here. Well, it's not a perfect science. Sports is not a perfect science. If it was, it wouldn't be as fun as it is for us. It wouldn't be. If you got to take the frustrations with the joys. You just have to. Not everything in sports for your favorite team, your favorite players, whatever. It can't all be champagne and roses. Everything can't be great. In fact, more times than not, there's probably going to be some downs and there's going to be some disappointments. But we keep coming back to it because we love it. And we're addicted. It's a drug. We're addicted to this madness. We love our sports. And if it was all gravy, like gravy on biscuits, if it was all good all the time, 100%, it'd get boring. Let's be real. But we're addicted to this thing. And yeah, there's been a lot of frustrating moments. And honestly, I think if you average it out amongst your favorite team and your fan base, there probably was more disappointments than celebrations and such. Unless you only were a fan of the Patriots during the Tom Brady era, then yeah, I guess there were probably a lot more good moments and such. But that's the exception, not the norm. So yeah, I like some of the stuff that Goody's doing right now with this roster. Tinkering here a little bit, making adjustments here. It hasn't been anything that's been like world shattering. Like, holy moly. Can't believe they did that. Or they traded more first round picks for some. No. A little bit of here, a little bit of there. Making moves here, making moves there. I think we're going to find out more moves in the next 24 to 48 hours at this point in time. I think I really think we are. With the new league year starting tomorrow, I think we're still in line to find out some more moves coming up here. Maybe I'm being a little too optimistic in that. Maybe I'm just kind of looking at it from rose-colored glasses and such, but I at the rate right now, I mean, you go back to, was it Saturday? The Zaire Franklin deal? I know this probably isn't like the way to view it, but you look at the Franklin one on Saturday. I was actually at the theater with my family trying to, keep our minds busy and such after our pup passed away and get out of the theater. I'm like, oh, Packers made a trade. It's like, all right, here we go. Sunday's a Sean Ryan. Yes, is Rashawn Gary, Elton Jenkins. Today, we've already got Nate Hobbs and another new corner. Feels like there's still more coming down the line. Why would you think that? And, I mean, we're probably going to find out some more. It feels like maybe today's the day we're going to find out where Romeo Doubs is going. Haven't really heard a whole lot about Rasheed Walker at this point. But I love this stuff. I love it. And today's been a lot of fun, and a lot of it's because a lot of you peeps, too. So keep this up. I appreciate it. I love it. Love it. Good stuff. Okay, last call for any sports confessions. Last call for any grind my gears. Last call for any I'm not saying, but I'm just saying. Paul, your confession about ISU being I'll confess, when I was in playing hoops at UW-Barron County for a hot minute, they were the Cyclones. I almost bought an ISU hat because, I mean, early 2000s, there was no swag, and I'm like, okay, I want a Cyclone hat. Represent UWBC, so I almost pulled the trigger, man, and had an Iowa State hat. That you don't got to confess for that. I'm good with it. I'm good with it. Got a little soft spot for the Cyclones and such. So, all right, let's take our final break, and we'll do some picks. We got Bucks in action tonight. We've got some college hoops games. We got Big Ten Conference tournament starting in that. So we'll take a look at that. We'll have a little fun prediction too. I'll throw this one prediction out to all of you, and I want everybody listening right now to chime in. Over under 1.5. I'll do it at 1.5. Over under 1.5. Packers make over under 1.5 more moves today. From this moment until tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. 1.5. I'll set the line. Do they under or more? So 2 or more moves or 1 or fewer moves in the next 21 hours. Let's have a little fun with that prediction. What do you think? Hit me up. All right. We'll take our final break here and we'll wrap things up. Coming up after these quick words. All right, let's start to wrap things up here this morning. By the way, Paul, card segment's coming. We'll kind of do a little soft launch tomorrow, but a little bit of a tease. So once every month, Tyler from Slab Factory is going to be coming on for a conversation to talk some cards and collecting and such. And Tyler will be on next week, not this week, but next week. He's out of town this week. So, but yep. A little bit of a soft launch. We're going to do something every Wednesday, Paul. So, and we'll hopefully have other guests and such with that too. So, but it looks like a lot of you are kind of choosing one for the over-under, like one more move today in the next 21-ish hours for the green and gold. So, yeah, I'm probably there too. I'd probably go under. I thought about doing the line at a half. I'm like, that seems to be a little too easy. So 1.5. I'm probably right at a 1 too. So my chair's stuck. So, all right, let's do some picks, shall we? Let's start off let's go to the NHL world because we got a good slate of games coming your way tonight. We got Kings versus the Boston Bruins. I'm going to go with the Bruins. San Jose versus Buffalo. I'll go Buffalo. Toronto, Montreal, give me Montreal. Columbus and Tampa Bay, I'm going to go with the Lightning of Tampa Bay. Detroit at Florida, I'll go Florida. Calgary versus the Rangers, give me New York. Pittsburgh, Carolina, give me Carolina. The Islanders taking on the St. Louis Blues, I'm going to go with the Islanders. Vegas at Dallas, I'm going to go with Dallas. Utah at Minnesota, I'm going to go with the Wild in this one. Anaheim at Winnipeg, I'm going to go with the Ducks, always with the Ducks. Edmonton at Colorado. Ooh, I'm going to go Edmonton. Nashville at my Kraken. Of course, it's the Kraken for crying out loud. So let's do some NBA games. By the way, for all you hat people, doing, like, would you wear, because we had that hat conversation earlier on this morning, a lot of opinions. Did anybody wear a hat of a team that they're not a fan of? It just looks cool. It looks cool, sort of thing. Anybody like people wear back in the day? Like I used to have a Boston Red Sox hat when they won the first World Series because everybody had a Boston Red Sox hat. Do you wear a hat of a team that you're not necessarily a fan of but it looks cool? So let me know just in the last 8 minutes or so, or is that a full paw? Let's do some NBA games here. Taking a look at the schedule besides the Bucks one, let's go Memphis at Philly. Got to go Philly. Detroit at Brooklyn. We're going to go Detroit. Washington at Miami. Miami. Dallas at Atlanta. Going to do Atlanta. Toronto, Houston. Give me the Rockets. Phoenix. Nope. Doing that. Boston, San Antonio. Ooh. I'm going to go Spurs. Chicago, Golden State, Charlotte, Portland. Bucks fans, you need Charlotte to lose. They've lost 2 in a row right now. I'm going to go Portland tonight. Why not? Indiana, Sacramento. Give me Sacramento. Minnesota at the Lakers. Give me the T-Wolves. Phoenix at Milwaukee. Come on, Milwaukee. And this Schneid, Phoenix is favored in this one too. Barely, 1.5, but still favored, and it's in Milwaukee. Come on, Milwaukee. Get it done. Get the win tonight for crying out loud. Go on a 19-game winning streak. Why don't you? Let's do, finally, let me bring up some college hoops games. We've got games starting here in a couple hours. Baylor, Arizona State. I'm going to go Baylor. We'll do that one. How about with the Big Ten, Maryland versus Oregon? I'll go Oregon. And Kansas State at BYU. I'll go BYU. I'm a little nervous about BYU. Like, they're not the regular season that they expected to have, but could they be a really dangerous postseason team? Where's the other? We got Penn State, Northwestern. Give me Northwestern for that game. And I think that's about it that I'm going to pick for some college hoops. Yeah, so how about, let me just kind of just double checking. We got to go women's because we're UW Green Bay women's team Horizon League Championship. Tips off in an hour going against Youngstown State. Go UW. Go UW Green Bay. All right. Let's get another Horizon League Championship. Get back into the tournament. 24-8 so far this season. First in the Horizon League, going up against Youngstown State, who's second in the conference. Let's go. All right. Perennial powerhouse, UW Green Bay women's basketball. Get that dub. So, all right. What was that? Oh, somebody's knocking. Okay. Dan, we need you to start giving us Dan's locks. Do I dare? Just kind of like fun locks, right? No to the hat things. Okay, yeah. Like I want to get, like, part of me is like, the Blue Jays hats are sweet. Baltimore Oriole hats are sweet. I feel like more in any other sport it would be baseball to represent another baseball team. To wear a hat from a fan base that you're not a fan of. Baltimore, Toronto, those would be like the two I probably would don, but so yeah, I don't know. It's just hats are so expensive too. That's the thing. I'm still on the mission of finding that go-to hat. That go-to one. All right. We only got a couple minutes left to the shot clock. This day in history. On this day, 1995, Michael Jordan ended his baseball career. 9 days later, he returned to the Bulls wearing number 45. I still remember that day, 9 days later. Are we going to be on in 9 days? What? I'll have to double 9 days. That would be March 19th. Yeah, that's a Thursday. So, I remember that day because 94, I was 8. Not quite 9 yet. I was 8, but I remember my aunt calling me because I was still young when Jordan retired. I remember the day Jordan retired, and when I remember watching the news to see his father had passed away and such. So I remember that, but watching him play before that, it's very, very, very blurry. But I remember this day when he played the Pacers in his comeback because my aunt called me and said, watch this game, turn this game on, Michael Jordan's back. I'm like, okay. And I remember vividly watching that game downstairs in the basement of the house. Or just, it's one of those things that I remember as a kiddo. But, yeah. So 9 days, that's going to be next Thursday. And we had a listener last week. We were talking about like collections and such. I'd love to see a picture of it if he still has it. And I don't know if he's listening right now, Mike. But I think Mike. But he has a collection of all like a big collection of Jordan baseball cards. I'd love to see that. I think I have one. I could kind of picture it too. I think I have one. I have to double check it, but yeah. All right. Again, just a couple minutes left. A huge thank you to everybody who chimed in, especially the trio on the video stream here. Big thanks for that. That was a lot of fun. Hopefully, we can count on you guys to be in there again and get some more people. I got to get C-Bomb and the rest of the peeps. Tom from across the pond, we got to get him back on the video stream too. So get a bunch more over there. Big thanks to the trio there. Tomorrow on Wednesday, as we are making the turn on this week, since I've been kind of throwing out some new segments day of for a lot of you. So tomorrow we'll do kind of a soft launch of our card collecting memorabilia type of segment. So that's coming your way, a little inside the hobby. We moved our game changer, our Hy-Vee game changer to tomorrow. So think about a play or a player that maybe changed the game, maybe heck, look at NFL free agency right now. A move, a signing that you think is really going to change a team's fortune, or that's a game-changing signing. And then it's a Mike Star Market, Am I Wrong, Wednesday coming your way as well. So that's your homework assignments. Those two things, your game changer picks and your Am I Wrongs. Thanks again, everybody. This was a lot of fun. Have a good rest of your Tuesday morning. Let's do it again, same place, same time, tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. See you then.